Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Brother Naquan, watchman for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another Monday Night Fire. Giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Hamashiach Yahushua. A hearty shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, and presenting their body as a living sacrifice. Shalom to those men. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there on the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Aquath out there, the sincere sisters out there, holding it down in the households, reverencing their husbands, being submissive, being diligent, and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to everybody tuning in live. It's like a shalom, Nahum Yasha'Allah, Shah Yasha'Allah of mighty WFR Rhode Island, from Egypt to Israel, Brody B, K-Rock the Don, Ancients New, Why Don't We, Lady of Zion 101, I'm a daughter to a king, Yahweh Shemel Rashad, Jews are black, Deuteronomy 28:68, Daryl Stone, and everybody else tuning in. Shalom, Yaradan, Shalom, King. Can you hear me? Khan. So all praise to the Most High. Lord willing, the riot joins in soon. We're going to get right into it. We're not going to play any games. We're hopping right into 2nd Esdras chapter 7. Right? Why are we going into 2nd Esdras chapter 7? Because we're dealing with the signs of the times. Man, we're dealing with prophecies. We're dealing with tokens. We've been in the spirit of pushing prophecy heavy, man, over the past, well, since we've been in this truth through the mercy of the Most High, but also more importantly in these last days, especially with the times we're living in and how things are heating up and how the Most High is requiring us to measure the time, right? So I want to go to 2nd Esdras chapter 9, right? Like I said, we're going to bring these precepts out a lot more often, right? 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter. I want to go to 2nd Esdras chapter 9 and verse 1, right? Oh, you got it?
God.
Okay, count the water.
Oh, Breeze, can you hear me?
God.
It's 2nd Esdras chapter 9, verse 1, and it reads, He answered me. It's like he answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the earth. It's like the world which he made.
Right, so you have to measure the time, right? So your measuring stick is what? The prophecies. You understand? And you link it up to the current events going on in the world, and you time in all together. So you have mass shootings. You just had one in D.C. You have mass shootings this entire so-called Juneteenth weekend, right? You have earthquakes all over the world at a phenomenal, unprecedented rate. You have, what else is going on? You have chariot sightings. You have so-called portals being discovered, right? People are taking pictures of chariots coming out of thin air, out of from the third heaven, man. You have World War III on the rise. You have the Europeans, the British leaders are telling the British or the English that get ready to fight World War III in Europe. They're coming out and saying that. Their top military men are telling the UK or really England, get ready for World War III and fight the Russians in Europe. That's what they're telling the people now. At first, okay, we're not going to get involved. Look, that's Ukraine's problem. That's Russia-Ukraine beef. That has nothing to do with us. It went from that to now European leaders are telling their military, be prepared to take up arms to fight against the so-called white man. You have food processing plants being burned down randomly, right? Quote unquote randomly. You have cattle dying, chickens being burnt up all over the world, man. You have many prophecies coming to pass. So it's our job to stay right in tune and move in that same spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. You know? You can read on Yaradan Baba Kashah. You're on mute.
It's like in verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world.
And you have earthquakes and uproars of the people of the world. That's plain. You have people that don't respect their government anymore. They don't respect Joe Biden. He's falling off of bikes, and the average American, they're laughing. They're doing comedy skits on it. They're pretending to be their president on SNL and TV shows, and they're mocking these guys and they're making jokes. So nobody respects these leaders anymore. Nobody really helped that guy up, man. He kind of stayed on the ground. Usually the president, if he kind of a fly land on him, the CIA or your Secret Service, they're there, right, with a damn gun to shoot off the fly. Right, this guy, he usually has tight security. Right, nobody can really. I can't remember the name of his vehicle they put him in, but it has a nickname where he has a caravan of other cars, man, and he has like a damn Batmobile type vehicle, man, with thick bulletproof glass, and he has an envoy. This guy Biden fell off the bike, and people kind of just looked at him for a while, kind of just looked at him and put their head down, and some of those guys kept riding their bike, man. So nobody cares about these leaders. They're ready to burn buildings down. They're ready to riot, food riots, empty shelves. So when you see these uproars of the people, right, you can go on, King.
God, I was going to say they call it the nickname for the presidential state car, the Beast, the Cadillac
Beast.
one.
Yep, that's what it is, the Beast. They call it the Beast, and that's fitting, right? You have Babylon, the so-called white man, their leader, riding in the Beast, man. So you can't make this up. So we can go on. We gotta start bringing that out.
God.
I think we back in 2nd Esdras 9.
2nd Esdras 9 chapter. It's like 2nd Esdras chapter 9 verse 3 again. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning.
So then this should register in your mind. Oh, the Most High been told me these things will happen. Let me get myself together. Oh, this is what Noah prophesied of. Enoch prophesied of. Moses prophesied. Read that part again.
Verse 4. Then shalt thou well understand.
Right. Then shalt thou, Slack it, Shalom, King.
Shalom, Kings.
It says, then shalt thou well understand. That what?
That the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning.
You see that? So the Most High spake of those things that were before thee, even from the beginning. So let's go back to 2nd Esdras chapter 7. So you should well understand what time you're living in. 2nd Esdras 7 and 1.
The book of 2nd Esdras chapter 7 verse 1. And it reads, and when I had made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me the angel which had been sent unto me the night before.
What angel is that? Uriel. Right? Let's go to 2nd Esdras chapter 4. So Ezra inquired on the state of Israel as a nation, on the Most High's judgments, were they upright? How long this people would suffer affliction? And many questions that you deal with that you read about in 2nd Esdras, the 2nd chapter, the 3rd chapter, the 4th chapter. And the Lord sent Uriel, the archangel, unto him. Right? Go to 2nd Esdras chapter 4. That's the angel that was sent to him. 4 and 1.
2nd Esdras chapter 4, verse 1. And the angel that was sent unto me, whose name was Uriel, gave me an answer, and said, thy heart hath gone too far in this world, and thinkest thou to comprehend the way of the Most High?
See that? So Uriel, his name in the Hebrew is a warrior Allah. Right? A war means light. Allah means God. Right? So he's the light of the Most High, the light of God. So when men are in darkness, right, when you're questioning the Most High and things are heavy in your spirit and your spirit is set on fire and you're the elect, and the Most High peradventure, he may sing Uriel to you. He's not going to sing Uriel to you if you're trying to figure out if you want a deep dish or a hoagie, right? Or if you want damn chicken as a topping, or do you want extra cheese? And then Uriel comes down to you and says, well, do you know how much pizza crust weigh? And no, he's not doing that, man. right? Uriel, this is the only account that you read about Uriel being sent. You can read about Gabriel, the archangel. Go to real quick, 1 Thessalonians 4:16. You have something in the Bible called archangels, which are higher level angels over the other angels. Right? 1 Thessalonians chapter 4:16. That's what I want. Right? Let me get that real quick. Oh, you got it, Yardan?
This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout,
right,
with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first.
See that? So you have the voice of the archangel, right? You have Michael, the archangel, right? Michael in the Hebrew is Mayaka Allah, which means who is like God. Or, yeah, that's what it means. Who is like God or like the Most High. All right? Because he's like the Most High. He's the angel. Michael, the archangel, he's set up as the protector of the entire nation of Israel. Like a man may have a guardian angel to protect you on an individual level. Michael is set up over the entire nation. That's his purpose. Uriel, he's set up to give light. Raphael is Rapaya Allah, which means he's the healer of the Most High. That's why he came up through the spirit with that cure to get to Tobias about the fish liver and to cast out that demon and to cure his blindness. And then a fourth archangel you read about in the Bible is Michael. You have Michael, Raphael, Uriel, and Gabriel. Gabriel is the last one. Gaboria Allah, which means warrior of the Most High. Right? You read about him in Daniel, the 9th chapter, right in the book of Luke. And he's sent out, you understand, on special requests, and that's the warrior of the Most High. But you got it, Kings. I know brother has something.
Khan, I got some.
Khan.
I wanted to bring out Daniel chapter 12 to go into that, man. Right, this is the book of Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, right, which standeth for the children of thy people. It said, which standeth for the children of thy people. So Michael's over to protect the nation of Israel. And there should be a time of trouble such as never was, since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And I want to get another precept in Revelation, the 12th chapter.
Khan.
Right? It's the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 7. It says, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the devil, and the dragon fought against his angels. So you got Michael, he's the top angel, man. Right? So Michael's over and he fights, man. He goes to war. These angels aren't just sent down for night terrors, sent down for different plagues, like other spirits are, right? Like the brother was going into, right? You got the 4 beasts, you got the archangels, you got the seraphims, the cherubims, you got the angel that stands in the sun, you got the 24 elders, right? There are different offices and sets for these different angels. And it says, and there was war in heaven, right? Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels. So just like any army, you have like a general, somebody leading it, right? You have men under him, and then it all chops down to the soldiers, like you read about in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 15, with Moses and the captains, right? You got Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? You got man, you got the principal man. You understand? You got the king, under the king, you got the princes, then you get all the way down to the chief of the fathers of the tribes. It's like that in the third heaven. The Lord is not just going to come like a lot of people think, and it's just going to be war and mayhem, man. What the Lord said in the book of Luke, let me get this quick precept, and brothers got it. Let me get this quick precept in the book of Luke, man. So if the Lord is letting you know plain upon tables, let me bring this up. Bear with me. The book of Luke, chapter 14, and verse, right? I'm going to start at 31. Or what king goeth to make war against another king, sitteth not down first and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000. Not that the Most High God, while Yahweh Shai, have to counsel necessarily how to take down the so-called white man, but everything's going to be done decently and in order. You're going to have certain chariots and certain angels for different offices. It's not just going to be like the movies, right? The Lord, he's going to lead the army as the king, and everything's going to be under him. You're going to have different angels settle for different things for destruction on the earth.
Khan. And I was trying to get the precept, but you have an account of the elect angels. I believe that's in Timothy, right? The Apostle Paul said, I charged you before the elect angels of the Most High. So you have the elect angels. Not every angel is the elect or an elect angel, man. You got the archangels. You have spirits. You have angels that are strictly created to rule over particular regions. That's what a principality is. They have been assigned a specific territory by the Most High. That's what kings do, right? When you read about Rehoboam sent his sons over different parts of the land of Israel. They had their own different regions. When you go into Chronicles, you understand? One son was given this portion, one son was given this portion, one son was given that portion, man. And that's what the Most High does. He has demons sent over Egypt. When you read Tobias or Tobit, you had Asmodeus that fled to Egypt, man, for a reason, not because the damn food was good, man. And he went to sightsee the pyramids or freak off with the women, man. That's not why he went to Egypt. Oh, I want to go check out the sarcophagus and oh wow, that's where they bury. No, man, it's spirits out there. Now let me get that real quick in Tobit 8. Right? This is Tobit, the 8th chapter. Right? Tobit chapter 8, and I'm gonna just read verse 2. It reads, and he went, and as he went, he remembered the words of Raphael and took the ashes of the perfumes and put the heart and the liver of the fish thereupon and made it smoke therewith. So he took this fish and made a concoction, right? The which smelled, when the evil spirit had smelled, he fled into the outmost parts of Egypt, and the angel bound him, right? So, hey, that's like them demons who went into the swine, man. They need a host. Demons don't operate like Casper the Ghost. They, just walking around and getting into mischief, man. You watch Casper. Casper just gets in this. He's on a football team, right? He's going to prom. He got a little tail, and I think Casper had he had best friends, man. Or was that Ghostbusters? One of those shows, and Casper got a soft voice, man. And he walking around boy, man, like a freak. And these demons, guess what? They're not Casper the Ghost. Now the angel bound them and sent them back to the third heaven. He didn't bound them and send them to hell. Caught him, and then he arrested him, and the angel had to put his hands up and put one hand behind his back, and the angel had to pay bail. And no, they need a host, right? Rather it's a region of other men and carnal flesh that they can operate on, or rather it's a kingdom, man. You can read that in Daniel 10 chapter. The brothers got it.
Real quick, just a quick point. If they don't have a vessel to remain in, they don't have the same, effect. If that makes sense,
right?
And I got a precept after you, Ryan. Like you got some.
Con, I wanted to bring that up, and that's a mighty point through the spirit, because you're not gonna be able to see the angels, right? When the Lord says, entertain them unaware, that's a spirit on that, man. You understand? Like, nevertheless, the spirits, they go into alligators, they go into scorpions, like you read about in the book of Sirach, right? They go into sharks, they go into Esau, they go into these different beasts, and they manipulate the elements, like the brothers is bringing out. They have tornadoes, world storm, mudslides, right? Whirlpools, volcanoes, all of these different things. These spirits, right? They're sitting there, man. And this is the book. Let me get this quick precept. Book of Revelation 9 and 14. And it reads, it says, saying to the sixth angel, which have the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the river Euphrates. And a lot of people break that down wrong, right? The Lord has these specific angels set over this region, man. Not that they're in hell or they're in trouble, man. Where's that at in the Bible? All things obey the voice of the Lord. Bro, we're prisoners of Yahweh. Did not Paul was a prisoner in his bonds as well as other apostles? You understand? The Lord said in the book of Sirach, the 6th chapter, to put your neck under her yoke, meaning wisdom. So being bound isn't necessarily punishment. How a lot of people break it. That's not talking about that. Those specific angels are bound there to that specific time to execute prophecy. And those angels are down there stirring up the elements, man. You got it, King.
Con. So let's go back to 2nd Esdras 7. Hey, I love talking about the angels, man, and the spiritual things. And we can go into that all day. Second Esdras chapter 7. They don't teach you that in church, man. They just tell you that all of the angels look like Cupid, man, from Valentine's Day, with the little swirl of hair right there. And for some odd reason, they're naked and they shoot you in the butt with an arrow. Right? I mean, and that's off, man. Right? But Uriel the archangel was sent unto, look at that, Greek pedestry. That's what that's rooted in. That's not Michael the archangel. Look at that. Look at that. No clothes on, blue eyes, blonde hair, love, creep. You know, and Jake actually believes that, man. Cupid, man. I hope Cupid don't miss, man. They made a woman. They say that, man. Hey, Cupid ain't never lie. That's a song, man. It's a song called Cupid, and Jake is saying, Cupid doesn't lie. You won't know unless you give it a try. You know, that's it's damn Drew Hill, man.
That's Drew Hill. Cupid.
No, that's
112. Ain't that
112?
112? Yeah.
See that? I stand corrected. Right? You see that? I stand corrected, man. 112 Cupid, man. So let's go back to that. Right? I stand corrected. Second Esdras chapter 7 and 2. Right? You on mute, Yaradan.
It's second Esdras chapter 7, verse 2. And he said unto me, Up, Esdras, and hear the words that I'm come to tell thee. And I said, Speak on, my God. Then said he unto me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great.
It's like Uriel gives a lot of parables and a lot of analogies. Right? So read that again, verse 3.
Verse 3. And I said, Speak on, my God. Then said he unto me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the entrance were narrow and like a river.
Right.
Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad?
Yeah, so this is a parable speaking about the kingdom. Right? So the sea represents the kingdom, the narrow represents the affliction. Now you can't enjoy the glory of the Most High without suffering and affliction. Right? Go on. So I'm going to tell you that as we read on.
Verse 6. There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things.
Right?
The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water.
So the city that's built is the kingdom of heaven. You understand? Now, in order to make it to the kingdom, you have to go through a narrow path. And it says it's full of all good things. What are the good things in the city? Immortality, everlasting life, servants, dominions, riches, peace. You understand? No violence. In order to get there, contrary to Christian, because Christianity says you die, you could be a complete wicked man and die and you just go to heaven. Or you're a good guy because you kind of brought donuts to the break room, or you wore a tie-dye shirt or a crazy shirt Friday, or you held the door for the old lady coming out the bank, kind of brought some grocery store, helped her bring her grocery bags to the car, and now you're a good person. You go to heaven. No, not everybody can make it, man. The Lord said the entrance thereof is narrow and is set in the dangerous place to fall. So when you come into this truth, it's dangerous, man. Like when you walk and you see them yellow signs, slippery when wet, hazardous, right? You may be driving across the bridge, you got the rolling rock sign, a damn boulder may fall on you, man. Slippery on the bridge, crosswinds. So these are the things you have to deal with when you cross the bridge, even on the carnal level, man. Sometimes you drive across the bridge, the crosswinds, and move your damn car, man. It's damn icy. Things can happen. It could break apart. So in order to get to your destination, you have to catch affliction and tribulation. One precept, Acts 14 and 22. I get it.
I already got it.
Bring it up.
It's Acts 14 and 22.
Come.
And it reads, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of God.
So the apostles were confirming their souls and exhorting them before they left, and told them that we must, not you might, it's a possibility. It is demanded of the Most High God for you to go through tribulation in order to make it to the kingdom. Rather that's financial tribulation. Some brothers have physical pain. You were healthy as an ox before you came into the truth. Now you have perpetual back pains. Right? Now your damn feet hurt all the time. And your knee hurt. You were well off. Financially, you came into the truth. Now you're broke. You know? So the Lord removes these things from you to see if you're going to endure. This truth is about endurance, man. And you're going to enter into that kingdom heart and maimed, like Yahweh Shah said, man. You're going to be all maimed up, bleeding and busted up, man. Your right arm is cut off. You plucked out your right eye. You got cut by the precepts. You beat down, but you're going to enter into that thing limping, man. I know brothers got precepts. You got it.
I got just one, Philippians chapter 1, verse 27. And it reads, it's Paul writing to the church in Philippi. He's giving them a lot of advice, a lot of exhortation through the Spirit, how to conduct and behave themselves. This verse 7. It's like verse 27. Only let your conversation be as it becometh the gospel of Hamashiach, that whether I come and see you or else be absent, all right, I may hear of your affairs, that ye stand fast in one spirit, with one mind, striving together for the faith of the gospel. Right? Striving and enduring, they go hand in hand. You have to persevere in this thing. And in nothing terrified by your adversaries. Because, our chief adversary is Satan. Right? And you got Esau, and you got the other nations, and you got these spirits. They're your adversary. They don't want you to enter. That's why it's through much tribulation. These people are causing much tribulation to your life. Again, as a brother mentioned, whether it be through money, your woman, your children, work. I'm going to read on. Which is to them an evident token of perdition, but to you of salvation and that of God. Why is it a token of perdition, but to you of salvation? Because, again, through much tribulation, we have to enter through the kingdom. And it's a tight squeeze. And not everybody can handle a lot of tribulation. People handle certain tribulation terribly. One little bad thing, they get drunk. They grabbed out alcohol like they Denzel Washington on Flight. Yeah, one little hiccup, grabbed it, and just got drunk. He drunk himself at night. Certain brothers, they have one bad day argument with their wife, and then they break themselves at night online. They destroy their vessels. I know certain people that stress eat. You stress eat, you just fall asleep. You lean back and just fall asleep from all that eating. You could have been reading. You got it.
Con, let me bring this precept out. Hey, that's a mighty point, man. Right? You got to be strong in this thing. Right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 17, and verse number 14. It says, and when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic. So you got certain people in this thing, their mental ability isn't right. They're a lunatic. And you got a lot of people with lunatic in the spirit, man. They got all these demons on them. They don't know what their left hand from their right hand. They don't know when to fast, when to pray, when to repent, when to come before the Lord. They're just everywhere in this thing. It says, and sore vexed, and oft times he falleth into the fire and off into the water. I mean, he's supposed to be walking straight, but he's a lunatic, man. If you're not stable in this truth and you're going left to right, right to left, you're gonna be falling off times in the water and the fire. And like that precept, you don't want to fall into the water and the fire, man. That affliction, those troubles, that pain, right? All that turmoil is going to sift you out this truth, man. You understand? And just like any bridge that you're walking across, sometimes that thing shit, man. They got certain bridges in Hawaii, in foreign places and foreign countries that's wood, man. It's got certain planks missing. The thing gets shaking and rocking. Right, tourists is trying to find out if they're gonna make it across. That thing is real, man. And them people is traveling on the other side, and that thing get to shaking. They get to rocking. If you're not rooted and don't hurry up and have stability in that thing, you're gonna fall. And there'll be a lot of people in this truth. Cause there's no telling how long this path actually is, man. It could be a set number of months and years. Nobody knows the day or the hour before our Lord cometh, man. And that could be discouraging when you're on that pathway, man. Because you're sitting up there, you keep falling, and then you keep getting back up, and it's a repetitive cycle. And if you're not mentally strong, and it's going to do you down. It says, and I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him. Then Yahweh answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. So the only way to survive the turmoil and affliction is Yahweh Shabbat. No matter if you're a lunatic, if you got an ailment, a disease, a plague, affliction, mentally, spiritually, or whatever it is, the Lord said, "Oh, faithless generation." I mean, you have to have faith and endurance to be able to continue to move on that path.
Con. And you know, that's a heavy thing because this truth is about long suffering. Right? It's about long suffering, man. It's not nobody said it's going to be easy. There's no verse in the Bible that says, okay, when thou find out that thou was Israel, thou shalt know that it is an easy path. No, the Lord said in Revelation, right, the 10th chapter. Let me get this real quick. Right, what did John the Revelator say through the Spirit? Right, this is Revelation chapter 10 and 9. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. So it's going to be bitter in this thing. It'll be sweet at first, right? You find out that path and you get excited. You find out your nationality. You're making all these posts on Facebook, right? You know, you told your grandma she's Israel, and you ordered your fringes. You took a picture with your fist up like this, your right fist. Right? You probably did two fists like this. You know, you telling everybody at the workplace. Then you find out it's bitter, man. Now they hate you. And like I said, we have many stories of, you know, the pain. Like I said, brothers getting stabbed by their fathers, mothers saying, I wish I aborted you, children rising up against their folks. These things are happening, man. Because this truth is not supposed to be easy. It's not. I mean, it's the kingdom of heaven. You got to earn this thing. Even in the world, when you want to make it to a sports team, it's not easy. Yeah, high school, college, NFL, NBA team, you don't just say, I want a jersey, and they say, well, okay, well, what number do you want? I want number 1. And then the general manager comes out and says, okay, here's number 1. You did no workouts. You did no damn pro days or whatever they call it, right? Your diet is all messed up. You have no cardio. You didn't even go to college. You didn't even play AEU. You don't have a scholarship, and you think you can just get a jersey? And these guys work hard for that stuff, man. You know? These guys got to travel to practice facilities. They're away from their families, right? These guys at these training camps, they don't get to see their son and daughter. They might see them 20 minutes. If they burnt out, they're asleep half the time. If they're not asleep, they're working out, man. And at any given second, they know people are getting cut. I believe in so-called football, I don't know how many, but I think it's like 50 people on the team. But it got to be 100 people trying out for the team. And everybody don't make it, man. Everybody can't endure. I remember when I was playing sports in high school, this guy, we had to just warm-ups. We were doing warm-ups. We run around the football field twice for just quick warm-up. Big guy, right? Said, oh, I'm done. I'm gassed. And he just took his chin strap off his helmet and walked in the darkness. And we haven't seen him since. Right? Let me get this precept real quick. I mean, it's madness, man. Right? Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 20. Quick precept. Right? St. Matthew, chapter 20. Actually, let me get my favorite, one of my favorite parables. Luke chapter 14. Right? It's probably my second favorite parable. Luke chapter 14 and 20. I'm gonna say the 28. Right? St. Luke 14 and 28. It's like it reads. Bear with me. Salakia. All right, Luke 14 and 28. For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? So you got to count the cost, man. Meaning what? You have to weigh this thing in the balance, weigh out the pros and cons that come with being in this truth, and ask yourself, can you endure? Right? Read the account of Jeremiah and say, can I endure that? Okay, that's what may happen to me. All right. We will happen to you, Hawashai. You say, all right, I can take that. Okay, that's cool. All right, you see what happened to Elijah? All right, he was alone. Okay, all right, he was to Jonah. And you read these accounts and you finally come up with that resolution and you say, okay, I'm down. It's like a contract, man. You got people that just sign, they get a contract. This is my last point, and they just sign. They don't even read the contract. Here, just sign here, sign here, sign here, sign here. Right? And they take that big, nasty pen and they say, here's my, what they call it, my Hancock, my John Hancock. And they just sign it, man. Anywhere, man. And they didn't even read the fine print. So then when they got to live out that contract and they didn't even read what happened, now they in straits. That's how it is. You got to read, you got to get into this thing and then say, okay, look, I'm ready. So the Lord said, for which if you intended to build a tower, sitteth not down and counteth the cost, whether you have sufficient to finish it, lest happily, after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. He began to build. And there's men like that. You got uncles that still have a car that they've been working on since 1981. Right? That blue nasty tarp over it. And they just passed by it. They was excited at first. They had their tools. You know, they probably kind of got the all the equipment they needed. They probably worked on it for a first few months. Maybe 2 years. Then they just start working on the car. And now they're a joke. You're still working on that? Why don't you sell it? When are you going to sell it? Now the woman's cussing them out. Right? So a lot of jakes, you start stuff and you don't finish it. And you don't even know what it takes to finish. So in this truth, when you in this truth, expect hell. Expect the worst. And hope for the best, man. The brothers got
right. Could you imagine Noah? You see Noah build it. He's building the ark. And he just kind of tossed the hammer 50 feet away from him and said, I'm done. That's off.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, your forefather Abraham, he got the altar. Come here, Isaac. They just kind of just pull him off the altar and say, no, hold on. Let me really think about it. Could you imagine? Hey, Christ could have just, I don't want to do it no more. You got to consider your life.
Right.
Because you're going to go through a lot of similar stuff. Nobody says you have to build the ark. Nobody said, you got to get sawed in half, Lord willing. But, the point is, you're going to find yourself following the footsteps of your forefathers. And the only way for you to really know that you're really following after them is, by keeping the commandments and reading. So you're destined to actually go through similar things that they went through.
Come. Let me bring this out too. And that's in the scriptures, man. When you read Sirach, the 4th chapter, let me bring this out. This is Sirach chapter 4 and verse 17. It says, for at the first you will walk with him by crooked ways. So wisdom is going to walk with you at crooked ways, man. Don't mean that wisdom is off. I mean, wisdom's going to scare you. It's going to put you in places and situations you have never been in, man. Are you going to choose your mother or me? Are you going to choose your daughter or me? Now you have to give up weed. Now you have to give up excessive drink. Now you have to give up clubbing, right? To somebody with no understanding, that's kind of crooked, man. You trying to, well, I've been kind of going this way. Now I have to turn around. It says, for at first you will walk with them, right, by crooked ways and bring fear and dread upon him. So wisdom is going to show you things you've never seen before, man. It's going to show you about the reason of slavery, the seal we living in, what the reason of wild beasts, and that there are spirits right above your head. There are cherubims that go to and fro throughout the earth. Right, there's certain events and prophecies that are going to unfold on the earth. Right, that's scary to certain men, huh? And certain men can't handle wisdom. Like a friend, when you meet them, you may say certain things, and they may be like, "I can't get down with this person. I'm out of here. I can't do this, man. That's not for me, man." You may have a so-called friend. Yeah, they may want to jog with you, man, right? But then you see him going up them damn mountains, and he's sitting up there, he on all the cheap hills. You're like, well, this ain't for me, man. You kind of back out of that thing. Or you may have somebody you go to the gym with. He's sitting up there, he pumping iron day and night, man. Calling you saying why you not here. He said, I can't hang out with that dude. A wisdom is going to bring you to everlasting waters in life, man. Going to teach you parables and things maybe too high for a fool that you may not be ready for, or that are not ordained for you to understand. The Lord said, bring fear and dread upon him and torment him with her discipline. So that's going into what I was going into earlier. You're going to get tormented with discipline. And everything you've ever known in life, as far as how you walk, how you talk, how you dress, who you speak to, who you would marry, you understand, the friends, even you talking to your family, all of that has to change at the drop of a dime. And the Lord said, I made haste and delayed not to keep thy commandments. So that's going to be dreadful to a man to change the rest of his life in a matter of seconds, man, coming into the knowledge of truth. And immediately has to pick up a Bible and put down a Quran. Immediately has the, for a woman, put down those pants and pick up a dress. And that may torment the simple-minded. It says, with her discipline until she may trust his soul and try him by her laws. So the Lord is going to torment you with certain things. Maybe prophecies, man. You may read about the death of the saints. That may be torment to your mind. You may read about fire and brimstone. You may read about pestilence. You may read about famines. These things may torment you, and the Lord may not choose you. You understand? So as we in this thing and getting afflicted, it's more than more ways than one. You know, we break it down manyfold. You know, there could be physical ailments and afflictions, pain, sawed in half, like the brother went into, financial problems, or it could be mental stability and the problems that you care for in life that you have to give up everything and follow the Lord. And when you actually, like the brother was going into, that's a mighty a metaphor, halt, lame, bruised. I mean, it's worth it. You sitting up there, you damn crawling like in the army, right? And then the Lord, he raised you up at the last day and place a crown upon your head. Huh? So that's what brothers are striving for. They're striving for the mastery. And nobody wants anything that's easy. Nobody wants an easy woman. You
Right.
say Shalom, and she said, damn, where's my key? Right? Or where do I fit in? Put me in a group chat, right? With your wife. Now, nobody wants that, man. You want, just like wisdom, hey, she's gonna try you. She's gonna come to you. She's gonna approve you. Just like any friend or anything worth having, it has to be worked for, brothers.
Con. And we can go back to Second Ezra 7. That's right, man. That's right. Second Ezra chapter 7. 7 and verse 7. Let's read 7 again.
Second Ezra chapter 7, verse 7. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water.
And only the Most High knows how many people fell in the water and didn't get out. How many people fell in the fire and they're still there. You're spiritually walking the path right now. And it's true. Go on. And the Lord said, real quick, let's go to Proverbs chapter 4. Ponder the path of thy feet. Right? Proverbs chapter 4. Let's start at 14. Proverbs, the 4th chapter.
Proverbs chapter 4, verse 14. And it reads, enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men.
Right?
Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away.
Jump to 25.
Verse 25. Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee.
Yeah, you got to have spiritual blinders on in this truth, man. Right? If you don't ponder, that's like people that drive on the highway and they got that on the side of the road when you pull over and you hear that doot 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 doot, that bump, they got that bump in there. I can't think of the actual name of it. I never made a highway, but it's before you pull over and you know that you about to damn drift into the barrier, right? So if you don't pay attention, you could be touching that, man. You could damn crash into a median. You're looking at your phone, right? You reach for something, you dropped your wallet. Now you in the other lane. Hey, when you're driving, you have to ponder, you have to pay attention, right? Because at any given second, they literally say all it takes is less than 2 seconds, and you could be in an accident, right? You could be people that they fall asleep, and all you hear is doo doo, and they wake up, right? Is that what it's called? The danger zone. Brothers said the danger zone, right? But there's a particular part on the highway. Brothers know what I'm talking about. All on the edge when you pull over, and it has the ridges in the road to damn make that sound to stir you before you go off, man. You know, now, if they didn't have that, God knows how many people would be dead. People would just drift off. They'll cross the median and then be on the other side of the highway, man. Or hit a tree. You know? So you got to ponder the path of your feet. Read that again in Proverbs 4:25. Rumble strip. Right? Breakdown lane. So brothers know. Right? Bring it out.
Second Esdras chapter.
No.
Proverbs
4:25, yeah.
Proverbs 24:25. Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee.
So if you're not paying attention, you're going to touch that fire, man. If you don't stand these prophecies, if you're not rooted in this truth, if you're not looking and have your eyes single, focused on the kingdom of heaven, you will get burned. You will go off, man. You got to make sure. That's like when you're driving, you check your GPS every now and then, man. I never knew somebody that traveled to a place they've never been to out of state, and they don't use a map or a GPS, and they just drive, right? I can memorize it. I got it. No, you got to, sometimes you check your GPS every now and then, or you may turn up the volume up, and they say, in 3 miles, take a right at so-and-so. And you listening for that. You turn the music down, and you make sure you get to your destination. And you check your tire gauge, man, and see if it's got air in it, you know? Hey, people plan for trips, man. You know, they take extra gasoline with them. Some people take weapons just in case. They bring clothes, food. You prepare for trips to a carnal destination. How much more for the kingdom of heaven on this path that you have to walk in? Read on in Proverbs 4:26.
Ponder the path of thy feet. Let all thy ways be established.
Yeah, meaning make sure, are you really walking in this thing? Or are you walking towards fire and water? Is your next step for you to fall off? The Lord said, this is a dangerous place, man. It's a tightrope. Right? And them people on tightropes, nobody knows how many people died. You just hear people that kind of professionals. But them guys, they fall, people die. People, they want to tightrope across the damn Niagara Falls. People want to do these things and they don't make it, man. And all it takes is one slip up on that tightrope. There's no barrier right there to catch you. There's no danger zone. One slip, you out this thing, man. So if you don't ponder the path of your feet, your next step of not reading, not praying, not studying, you in the fire, man. You keep dealing with them Rel and Rhonda, right, of the world, that's you about to drown. Just like if you're driving, if you don't check that, now you missed your exit, right? Then everybody else got there, and now take you an extra 2 hours to get there, man. Because a lot of you brothers, you're missing your exit, man. And everybody's getting to the destination, and by the time you get there, the party's over. But brothers got it. If not, we can go back to Second Esdras. We can read on, King.
In Second Esdras chapter 7, verse 8 again. And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could be but one man go there at once.
See, everybody can't, this is not Christianity, right? One man can go there at once. So one man, he make it, he receive understanding, knowledge, and brothers, and the Lord said you should be gathered one by one. O ye children of Israel, right? In Isaiah, right? So go on.
If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance?
I mean, we've covered that. That's plain. You got to go through hell. You got to go through hell, right? You got to go through it, man. Even people of the world, these people that join these fraternities, they got to go through danger. You want to pledge and be a damn worldly Greek, a Q, a Alpha, God knows what you have to do, man.
You gotta get spanked.
Yeah, they show you that in that movie, Burning Sands. I
Burning
don't know if you
sands.
saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You
I was
said
about,
what?
I was about to say, and they show you that in school days.
Yeah, school days. Yep. And that dude spit on his lip, man. He had to deal with it. He was beating him in the chest. You know, he was spanking him with a paddle. He had to get. They get branded. They gotta get branded.
On their
They gotta
butt sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of them get molested, man. You know, they get popped. Right? They gotta do these things, man. And then they finally put their damn that purple and gold on, and they made it. Like Arad said, anything that's really worth having is worth the wait, and it's worth enduring hardship for, man. You know, that's what this thing is about. And then you feel you appreciate the success. You understand? And you appreciate the well worth waiting. And not only that, Jake, you deserve this, man. Right? We fell. Adam fell, and now this is what we have to deal with. You done smoked weed. You was a murderer. You was breaking the Sabbath. You were a whore. You were doing all these things, ungodly things, and you think the Most High is just going to bring you in this truth? And no, man, we're off. So, hey, the Lord want to see if we really want this thing. You got it.
I was going to say that's just another way of selling out, because you don't run across a lot of poor what do you call them? People in poor fraternity. I don't know what you call them.
Oh, yeah, fraternity guys.
You don't see a lot of poor people like that holding street sign. Hey, they made it.
Yeah,
because there's always a doctor that was with them, and all they gotta do is just make one call, and they get you in a job. This is you selling out. You gave up your bowels for a job, for money, for a house,
yeah,
for a phone,
yep.
a car, some clothes. You got it.
Yeah. Hey, man, these guys are off, man. Like I said, they're getting spanked. You got women that do that. Women, what's that, an alpha? No, what is this damn? A kappa? I can't think of these damn things, man. They wear the green and the pink, you know. But they got to go through that stuff too, man. You know? Now, you don't really hear too much about what they got to go through, but they got to catch hell. That's for wickedness. Jake, you do that for wickedness. You're in the studio 24/7 for wickedness. Grinding, you get no sleep. You going through hell. You dodging bullets. Just for wickedness, man. And you don't think for the most immaculate reward of all time, it's not going to be something that you have to go through? So, brothers, think about that, man. Have that mentality. Let's go to Matthew 7-13. Have that mentality, and it's true. So when you catching the hell, you're supposed to say, all praise to the Most High. That's me walking closer to the kingdom. Right? That's me walking closer to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. It's not supposed to be easy. We're not going to tell you it's going to be easy. We would be liars. It's going to be hard. Sometimes you gotta have people just tell you like that, man.
Yeah.
Just and that's it is what it is. It's not easy. It's gonna be hard. It's tough, but guess what? It's well worth it. Right? And the Lord said in Romans chapter 8 that the suffering of this present time should not be compared with the glory that shall be revealed, paraphrasing. So this thing is about endurance. Let's bring that up.
Matthew chapter 7, verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gates, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many thereby, it's like many there be which gone in thereat.
Right.
Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth into life, and few there be that find it.
See that the Lord said, enter ye in at the straight gate. Straight means affliction. Like that movie, was that 187? The guy, James Franco, he was stuck in, I think his arm was stuck. He was damn doing something. I think he was jumping
He
in
was
the
stuck
cave.
under a rock.
And he was stuck under a rock and he was in this narrow crevice. He was dehydrated. You know, I think he had to cut his own arm off.
Mm-hmm.
Watch that movie, man. You know, he was enjoying himself. I think he got separated from his companions. He was in his dungeon or this cave, rather, and his arm got pinned and he was stuck in a straight place. So that word straight in Matthew 7 don't mean a straight edge ruler. It means affliction. And in order to get out, he had to literally chop his arm off, man. He had to do that. So I think he used a rock or a knife. You remember what he used?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he used something, but he had to chop his own arm off and just to get out of there. And that's the way towards the kingdom. You understand? The Lord said, wide is the gate that leads to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. It's easy to go through a wide gate, man. It's no affliction. You don't have to sit, you don't have to turn to some places you got to kind of turn to the side, excuse me, right? You got to kind of move stuff out the way. And people don't like that, man. They want it easy. But it leads to the easy way leads to destruction. If you have it easy and it's true, you got to check yourself. I'm not saying the Lord is not blessing you and rewarding you, but you want to kind of examine yourself. Because last time I checked, all the men of the Lord went through hell. You understand? Samuel, David, Jeremiah, Elijah, Hamashiach Yahushai, David, right? All these men, Joseph. Let me get this precept. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 11.
And it was a blunt pocket knife.
A pocket knife. Wow. See that? He had to chop his own arm off with a pocket knife, man. He had to literally do that. A lot of jakes, you die, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that, man. He had to literally cut his arm off just to get out that situation. You know how much with your mind, what level you have to be on to do that? Even though movies, them horror movies like Saw, they got to do the wildest things to escape, man. You know? Hey, Saw, he had to cut his damn foot off. So you got to have some type, you got to know how to deal with affliction in this thing. That you got to induce the affliction. That's another thing brothers don't understand. You got to induce the affliction. You got to cut people off. They're not always going to separate from you. You got to do certain things, man. But let me go, let's go to Hebrews chapter 11 real quick. Quick precept. Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 33.
It's Hebrews chapter 11, verse 33. Who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions.
So this is what our forefathers did. Right, go on.
Quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword. Out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight their armies of the aliens.
Right.
Women received their dead raised to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection.
This is what they had to do. Men were tortured. You understand? Women had to see their children die. This is the straight gate, man. You may have to be tortured. Go on.
And others had trial of cruel mockings and scourgings, yea, moreover, of bonds and imprisonment.
Being locked up in dungeons, sitting in the mire, starving till an Ethiopian deliver you out, man. Like Jeremiah. Being sawn in half, trial of cruel mockings. Go on.
They were stoned. They were sawn asunder.
Hey, certain men got sawn in half. They would tie him to a tree. One man would have one side of the saw, other guy would have another one, and they would just saw you in half, and you calling upon the name of the Lord, man. We can't even imagine that, man. They say Isaiah the prophet got sawn in half by King Manasseh, man. Then Manasseh repented. Right, so go on.
They were stoned, they were sawn asunder, were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented.
Yeah, like Elijah, John the Baptist. They didn't have the best life, man. Hard life. That means they had a hard life, a tough life.
Or
Goat
not life.
skins, destitute, afflicted. Elijah living in caves. You understand? John the Baptist, locust, the wild honey in prison, head chopped off. Hey, read the prophets, man. Go on.
Of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and caves of the earth.
Right, caves of the
Caves
earth.
of the earth.
You had men wandering in deserts, living in caves. Jake, we had been through that, man. You go to work, you go home. I don't like my mattress. Maybe this truth isn't for me. Oh, I had a flat tire. Hold on, you didn't wander in the desert. You didn't spend a day and a night in the deep. You weren't locked up. You didn't have to fight a wild beast. Jake, all you did, I mean, you got fired, brother. I mean, come on, brother. Really? You ready to fall off the truth of your woman? She stopped texting you. You haven't seen her in 3 days. Now you're losing your mind. Go on.
I got a quick point too. We had a brother that left. We had one fight, just the first fight, this so-called fight that he's seen, has been in at camp, and he left. This is months. This is almost a year ago. He said, I don't think I can do this anymore. We didn't really have to fight.
Yeah.
This is nothing but excuses.
Yeah.
I don't think we really had to fight. Couldn't we just mellow and talk with him, and whatever the case was?
Yeah.
It might have been a few years ago. I can't remember which brother, but it happened more than once, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, right? Let's read on.
Verse 39. And these all, having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise. God having provided some better things for us, that they without us should not be made perfect.
So the Lord said, all these, and these all having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise. So they didn't get beamed up. They all died before the kingdom was established, man. But they endured through faith. They all died. They didn't even get to see Babylon the Great or the end of the world. They just died thousands of years ago, hoping that they could make it. And now you in this life right now, you about to faint. You're in the perfect position. You like the wide open guy on the damn pick and roll, man. Just sitting there, you got it made. And now you're just ready to walk away from this thing. All because of a little affliction. You got it, King. All right, let's go back to 2nd Esdras. It's madness.
2nd Esdras chapter 7, verse 10. And I said, It is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, Even so also is Israel's portion. Because for their sakes I made the world, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done.
Yeah, read 10 again, Baba Gasha.
Verse 10. And I said, It is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, Even so also is Israel's portion.
Yeah, so in order for us to, everybody has a portion of being a kingdom, right? Everybody has a different path, the way that they were given. Our portion is to go through hell to make it. That's not Esau's portion. Esau, his job is to be the wicked and then be rounded up in slavery. That's his portion, right? If Esau had his own Bible, the Most High would say, okay, Esau, okay, you're going to be the wicked, and then, okay, you're going to be in the kingdom, but this is how you're going to get there. Right? You're going to sell your birthright. You're going to do this. That's your portion, right? Okay, you Moabites, here's your portion. You just beat the devil too, right? You cause confusion. You oppress the people, and you'll be in the kingdom as a slave, right? Everybody has a pathway to be in the kingdom, huh? Our portion is to go through hell. It says, Yaradan read, then it's lucky because for their sakes I made the world, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. So it wasn't always like this. It wasn't always hard to have rest. It wasn't always hard to be at peace. It became hard when Adam went off. When Adam went off, the Lord decreed that in order to get back to that estate, you have to go through the gutter. You have to get it out the mud, how they say. You have to catch hell. Adam didn't have to catch hell. Where's the account of Adam catching hell before being placed in the Garden of Eden? Right? Okay, Adam, you got to go through slavery, and he didn't have to go through that, man. He was put in the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. But when he sinned, now guess what? In order to get back, you got to work hard for this thing.
I got a quick precept on that too, right? It's the book, Second Esdras. Get this quick precept, right? Chapter 3 and verse 25. It says, when this was done many years, then they that inhabited the city forsook thee, and in all things, even as Adam and all his generation had done. For they also had a wicked heart, and so thou givest thy city over into the hand of thy enemies. Right? And I want to link that up with Romans chapter 5 and verse number 12. Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and by death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for that all have sinned. So you understand, Adam, he went off, man. Nevertheless, through his fall came death in the earth, man. And everybody dies. That's when you read the book of Romans, the 5th chapter, verse 12 all the way down to 21. Where I'm gonna read verse 18. It says, therefore, as by the offense of one judgment came upon all men to condemnation, even so by the righteousness of one the free gift came upon all men into justification of life. So we fall by Adam, but we get grace and mercy by Yahushua. You on mute, Ken.
It's like the water. Yeah, this is by design anyway, right? The Most High, for brothers that don't know, Adam was programmed to go off, right? He was programmed to go off by the Most High for a particular reason, right? Let me get that in 2nd Esdras chapter 4 and 30. All right, you got people saying, well, why did Adam bite the apple? All he had to do was say, I'm not hungry, right? He should have ate a meal earlier. He wouldn't have never been hungry. It's not the case, right? This is 2nd Esdras chapter 4 and 30. For the grain of evil seed hath been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning. So the Lord sowed an evil seed in the mind of Adam and covered it up with the soil, for lack of better terms, so it can bring forth the wickedness inside of him. Now, he didn't know that, right? It reads, for the grain of evil seed hath been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning. And how much ungodliness hath it brought up unto this time, and how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of threshing come? Right? So Adam, guess what? He was made to go off. And if you come from Adam, you're going to bring forth evil too. Ultimately, into the time of threshing, till Yahushua return, it's going to be a lot more evil. So guess what? Adam was made to go off for a particular reason. Just like when you read about the prodigal son, right? We're not going to read the entire prodigal son, but if the Most High didn't put the spirit of the prodigal son to go off, he would never appreciate and learn what righteousness was. He would never learn the love of the Father, right? He would never really learn what repentance was, what it means to be away from the Most High, right? How it is to be not under the shadow of the Lord, right? He would never understand or appreciate the truth or righteousness. Neither would he understand evil if he never went off and sold his inheritance. So the Most High has to make you go astray just so you can learn righteousness. And that's the purpose of discipline, man. Right? You may put your kid out, right? He's 17, he's going off. Get out the house. Right? 16, get out. I'm dropping you off. And one brother told me his pops dropped him off in the hood, man. And he wasn't raised in the hood. He just dropped him off. Said, get out. You got to deal with it. Because he was back talking and being a nigga, man. So he dropped him off in the hood, and he's out there, man. Now you know that you shouldn't be doing it. Now you know what it takes to get back, man. And I believe he had to find his way back, man, on foot. Dodging damn niggas and guns and people mean mugging you and rubbing their mittens and sizing you up and putting their damn hoodie up and damn doing God knows what, man. And that's what the Most High did to us. He dropped us off and sin, for lack of a better term, so we can understand what evil is. And one more point, in order to be a judge, a righteous judge, you have to understand good and evil, right? You can't judge a matter if you haven't experienced that matter. People are dealing with evil and sin, and the nations are going to be going to hell off. And how are we going to be fit judges if we haven't judged matters or been through these matters ourselves? But you got it.
Con. And another quick point, everything has to travel through darkness to light, man. If we're that seed, we got to be planted in darkness before we see the light, man. And we have to fight our way out of that soil, man. And a lot of people don't make it, man. They stay in the soil. They stay in darkness. If they get watered, you know what I'm saying? They see a drought. They may bud for a second. They may see a little light. You may pass by the word, you understand, but you never take root in this thing. Just to make a quick point, everybody's a seed in this thing, right? Planted, and they have to bring forth fruit, right? When you go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse number 25, I mean, Solomon, he was raised righteously by King David. There's no account of Solomon being a bad child, man, just going off, right? Like your nigga men, just popping willies, throwing rocks, right? Slapping ice cream cones out of people's hands and being a menace, man. Jumping on your car, right? Hey, man, I remember I went to go visit my mom one time, right? I kind of went somewhere. I came out the store. Damn niggas posted up on my damn car, man. Just hanging on the whip, man. So, I mean, you got wickedness is at an all-time high. There's no account of Solomon, right, was raised wickedly by King David. But this is what Solomon said. It says, verse 25, I apply my heart to know and to search and to seek out wisdom and the reason of things. So why does Solomon want to do that? Because all he knows is righteousness. Like I believe, I don't know if it's a cartoon or folks tale, it's something where it's the lady, she's in a castle and she's looking down at the town. And she want to let down her hair to get to the town because she don't know what's in the city. She's curious. She's sitting up there in the damn tower all day, just looking down at everything. And we've been in the darkness. We've seen what violence look like. We've seen what drugs look like, man. A lot of people, they've seen what damn death look like, man, and thievery and all manner of lewdness, man. A lot of people came out of homosexuality. It's a lot of sins and ailments and things that people mentally came out of as a nation. We've been in the dark. So now we know what's in the dark and we don't want to go back in the dark. A Solomon was in the light. He says, I apply my heart to know. I mean, he wanted to know what was the talk of the town. What was folly and madness and foolishness, man? It says, what if you've never known sin? You've never witnessed it. You've never seen it. And then it comes across to you. It might be a tasteful for your looking, man. Because you're curious and you don't know what that thing is about. It says, that's why I Salaki on another level. That's why kids are in everything. They're trying to figure out what a fire is. And, you know, what is this? Do I pick it up? Do I place it down? Can I pet this? Do I run from this? They're in everything because they don't know what's going on, man. As an adult, you could be like, look, don't touch that rock roller. Don't touch that pit. You already know. Don't put your hand in front of that fire. Don't walk in the middle of the street. Children, they're willful. They're in everything. It says, I applied my heart to know and to search and to seek out wisdom and the reason of things and to know the wickedness of folly, even foolishness and madness. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets and her hands is bands. Whoso of pleas of God shall escape from her, but the sinner should be taken by her. So point blank period, Solomon, he wanted to give himself over to know other things, that other side of the pillow spirit. What's over the other side of the fence or the mountain or the hill? You understand? And the Lord already put us in that position from the foundation of the earth so that we can't look back. We wasn't born righteous and perfect to the point where now we're curious of sin, right? That would be backwards. We were defiled. We were off. You know, we were made subject. Let me get this quick precept in Psalm 51, man. And the Lord said, I was shapen in iniquity, right? So point blank period, you know, we were born coming out, right, in this sinful body, and we had nothing to do about it. It's the book of Psalm chapter 51 and 5. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me, man. So if we're born perfect, what would that make somebody try that much harder to go to the law or to be justified and to read more? You know, we fall short that we strive for Yahweh Shai. We strive for righteousness through faith. Brothers got it.
Khan, that's right, man. That's right. So that's how a father deals with his son. All right. That's how a father deals with his son. You can read that in Hebrews 12, Wisdom of Solomon. The Lord deals with the heathen as a terrible king, but with us as a father, man. Let's go to back to Second Esdras. Right? Second Esdras 7.
God. Second Esdras chapter 7, verse 11. I started 10 again. And I said, It is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, Even so also is Israel's portion. Because for their sakes I made the world, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done.
Right?
Then there were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils, and very painful.
Yeah, even Jacob said that. He says, few and evil have been my days on the earth. My pilgrimage, man. So nowadays are evil, man. Right? Just because your great auntie made it to 109 doesn't mean any damn thing, man. We're supposed to be immortal, right? The Lord cut the lifespan of man to 120 years, then 100 years, and then about 90, then 80, right? Or it's like 100, then 80, then 70, man. Right? That's Psalms chapter 90. The days of, let's get that real quick in Psalms chapter 90. We can start at verse 7.
It's Psalm chapter 90, verse 7. And it reads, For we are consumed by thine anger, and by thy wrath are we troubled.
Right?
Thou hast set our iniquities before thee, our secret sins in the light of thy countenance.
Right?
For all our days are passed away in thy wrath. We spend our years as a tale that is told.
Right, meaning brief. Go on.
The days of our years are 80 years and 10. And if by reason of strength they be 80 years, yet is their strength labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off, and we fly away.
See that the Lord said the days of our years are 80. So the Most High kind of cut the lifespan down to man. I mean, to 70 years old for man. Even when you look up the average lifespan of man, it's around 70 years old, right? And it says, and if by reason of strength, meaning that the Most High allow you to push past 70 to make it to 80 years, which is 80, yet it's their strength, labor, and sorrow. So when you're dealing with being 80, you have nothing good going on for you, man. But labor and sorrow. You forget everything. People got to help you use the bathroom. You can't read. You can't hear. People are chewing up your food for you. People want to poison you, right? They want to pull a plug and you don't even know what's going on. They're just plotting to kill you, right? They fighting over your will. Your mind is gone. So when you're around 80 years old, it's just sorrow, man. I would never want to be 80 in this body and this captivity. If you're 80 in 2022, I mean, it's horrible, man. You got young degenerates hitting you upside the head, robbing you. People just moving you around. They pick you up. Hey, there's videos we brought up before of people in these retirement homes just beating up old people, man. Just doing what they want to do. And they record it. Like this one Jake, he was just going to work. And he saw, I mean, these old people, they can't fight for themselves. This is our life now, man. And in this captivity, the average so-called black man, they say by 25, you should be dead or in jail. So if you make it to 26, people actually turn up on that, right? Okay, I made it past 25. I'm no longer a statistic. That's hell. This is not life, man. We used to be 969 years old. Methuselah, Adam, he was 930. Noah, around 950. Our forefathers were well over 900 years old, man. And now you happy you made it to 30. The brothers got it.
I was just gonna say they got the 27 club. You know, you
Yeah.
made it past 27. Hey, now you can crack open some wine and just hope for the best afterwards. Because a lot of people they don't make it past 27. And they named it that specific club because a lot of the artists they gave up the ghost, at 27 and or before.
Wow. Wow. See, I didn't know that. And we went to the airport going to Atlanta, and we had the elder with us, and you have the people that come help you push the elder men, right? And this guy just tried to run off with the elder, man. Right? He just ran off, and the elder saying, "Stop, stop, stop."
Yeah, I was just thinking.
You said
Wait,
what?
what happened?
I was just thinking about that too.
Yeah, he can't do nothing. So we went to the airport. This is years ago when we did the Atlanta groundbreaking, and we had the elder with us. We had the older guy pushing the elder. I mean, it was like a Moabite man. I think it was a Moabite. Right. And we stopped to use the bathroom, and we told the guy just wait. We had one guy outside watching the elder, and the guy just peeled off and left. Man, the elder saying, "Stop, stop, stop! They're behind me. Stop! I'm with those guys." He said, "Shut up! Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." Right?
So our elder.
So like, yeah. And what's crazy is he sped up when we said hold on, man.
Yeah. He started moving. Hey. Yep.
He kind of looked back and he started speeding up, huh?
Yeah. And the elder said, "Oh, go ahead, King.
Now you gotta go ahead."
Yeah, the elder was like, hold on. Slow down. He said, "Don't worry about it. You don't need to know them." And he just kept rolling, man. So we start running. We have to kind of get the elder back, man. So when you old, if you don't have, ultimately is of the Most High, but God knows what would have happened if the Lord didn't have mercy, right? And kind of have us kind of get the elder back, man. He would have been eaten alive or stuffed in somebody's damn fridge, man.
Right, taking advantage of spirit.
Yeah. So these things happen, man. I know older people, they just get robbed. The people are they have Alzheimer's. They say, I need $50. Then they wait 10 minutes like this. They say, "Hey, can I use $50 again?" "Oh, okay." And they open up their purse and they give you $50 more. Then you wait 10 more minutes. You just peel off and come back robbing them, man. Because they don't remember anything. 1 minute you're John, 1 minute you're her grandson, 1 minute you're her damn brother. You're all these people just robbing these people because they can't remember any damn thing, man. That's wicked. You got it. You on mute.
My certain cousins, they kind of robbed one of their grandparents and said the lights are off. There was a huge fight between us. We just were behind on the rent, whatever. Can you help us out a little? And they got the cheese, they got the chicken, whatever you want to call it. They got the money, right? And they peeled off. They literally just skirted off in the car after that one night. After, they got some food, some money, a roof over their head for the night. And like you hear, and it kind of just skirted off. And we never heard from him again for like a year. Literally for like a year. Never heard of him. Didn't say, "Hey, look, it's all paid off." Didn't say the water, just peeled off into the night. I said, "Hey, did you call him?" They said, "No." I said, "Why didn't you call him?" They said, "No, I got busy."
Yeah, I got, and it's a precept on that, man. It's precepts for everything, man, in the scriptures, right? Let me get this quick precept. This 1 Kings chapter 14, right? And verse, I'm gonna start at 4. It says, "And Jeroboam's wife did so, and arose and went to Shiloh and came to the house of Ahijah, but Ahijah could not see, for his eyes were set by reason of his age." So he had an old prophet. He couldn't see anything, right? So she's trying to disguise herself and manipulate the situation. You got certain people they can't see, man. Right? You may, yeah, I'm good grandson. And Derek, is that you? Right? Like, yeah, it's me. Next thing you know, you in somebody's damn house, man. Somebody's grandmother fixing you food. You sitting at the damn table getting fed, man. So you can take an advantage of an old person, right? I mean, it's in movies, it's everywhere, right? Damn, Ahijah, his eyes are dim by reason of his age. It says, and the Lord said unto Ahijah, behold, the wife of Jeroboam cometh to ask a thing of thee for her son, for he is sick. Thus and thus shalt thou say unto her, for which shall be when she cometh in, that she shall furn herself to be another woman, right? And it was so when Ahijah heard the sound of her feet as she came in the door, that he said, come in, thou wife of Jeroboam. Why furnishest thou self to be another? For I am set to thee with heavy tidings. So even though this man, he was dim of age, you understand his eyes, he couldn't really see. Through the spirit of the Lord, he could still identify that was the wife of Jeroboam. What if the spirit of the Lord wasn't on this man, man? And he had dim eyes and somebody's coming to his house and she fronted herself to be somebody else? That could have ended ugly for the wicked. Brothers got it.
Man. I was going to get the account real quick in 2 Samuel 19:35 with Barzillai, right? So Barzillai was a wealthy man who helped out David, but he was an older man. So this 2 Samuel 19:35. I am this day 80 old, and can I discern between good and evil? Can thy servant taste what I eat or what I drink? Can I hear any more the voice of singing men and singing women? Wherefore then should thy servant be yet a burden unto my Lord the King? And a lot of older people, they feel like a burden, right? You want to help bring in your in-laws, and they old, and they're going through your mail, and they just they're rummaging through your stuff, and they're just a burden, man. Right? Nobody to take care of me. And this guy said he couldn't hear anymore. He can't even taste his food anymore. He can't even discern between good and evil. He lost his mind. Right? He's saying, yeah, commit adultery. That sounds good. Yeah, just do it. Right? People's minds are bad, man. And this is why we're going into this, because this is what we have to deal with now. We have to deal with GMO food, right? We have to deal with the pesticides, the damn fruit back then in the elder world. So you got two worlds. You got the elder world, and you got the world you live in now. In 2 Ezra 7, it speaks about the elder world. The elder world is during the time of Adam. In the elder world, all the animals would obey you. Right? You can actually tell the dolphin to come out the water, he'll listen to you. You can walk with a pride of lions and they'll obey you. You understand? Then the Most High, then when man fell, guess what? Now you have wild beasts attacking you and all manner of evil on earth, man. Nations rising up against you. So you got the elder world, then you got the current world, then you have the kingdom of heaven. All right? Those are pretty much your three ages that you have. So let's go back to 2 Esdras. All right, so these days are few and evil, man. Few and evil. Around what, 80 you retire? I think the age of retirement is maybe 78, 79.
You can't even enjoy your life when you're 79 or
Yeah,
70.
but a brother brought
You're
out a
too.
good. Oh,
You
I'm
got
sorry.
it.
No, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Yeah, brother brought out a good point. Even David had a woman that had to keep him warm because he couldn't get heat. You know, and he was the king, and he didn't even get heat because he's in these bodies. Right. So let's go back to that in 2 Esdras.
2 Ezra chapter 7, verse 13. For the entrances of the elder world were wide and sure and brought immortal fruits.
Right. Meaning what? It was easy during the time of Adam. He was there. He didn't have to work hard to be in the Garden of Eden. He didn't have to go through the curses. He didn't have to make this great big covenant. He just was there. Go on.
If then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them.
Right. So you're not going to have it unless you go through hell. Right. Have the kingdom. Go on.
Now therefore, why disquietest thou thyself, seeing thou art but a corruptible man? And why art thou moved, whereas thou art but mortal?
So he checking them. Go on.
Why hast thou not considered in thy mind this thing that is to come, rather than that which is present?
Right.
Then answered I and said, O Lord that bearest rule, thou hast ordained in thy law that the righteous should inherit these things, but that the ungodly should perish. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things, and hope for wide. For they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide.
Yeah, the Lord said the righteous suffer straight things and hope for wise. So brothers catch hell and hope for a better life, man. And for the kingdom, then you got the wicked. They suffer straight things and they don't see the wide. So it's like a lose-lose. So you're trying to figure out, what's the purpose? Go on.
Salakia. Verse 19. And he said unto me, There is no judge above God, and none that hath understanding above the highest. For there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the law of God that is set before them. For God hath given straight commandments to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment.
It's not hard. It's not hard to figure out how to serve the Most High. Straight commandments, plain. Right? Keep the commandments and live. Break the commandments and die. Right? The Lord didn't make it complex. Go on.
Verse 22. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spake against him and imagined vain things.
That's what I don't want to hear the commandments. I don't want to hear the laws. Right? I can live my life in sin and I'll still make it to the kingdom of heaven. That's what Jake do, man. Go on.
And deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High that he is not, and knew not his ways.
Right.
But his law have they despised and denied his covenants and his statutes. Have they not before been faithful, and have not performed his works? And therefore, Esdras, for the empty are empty things, and for the full are the full things.
Yeah, empty of what? Empty of wisdom. Right? You'll get an empty reward, man. You're not going to get nothing. If you don't have nothing, you're not going to get nothing. That's what the
right.
Lord is saying. If you don't have any understanding, any wisdom, any knowledge, you're a vessel that's empty without water in it, then you're going to get what? Nothing. Vanity. You're not going to get the kingdom. If you're full of water, knowledge, and understanding, you'll get a full reward. You got it.
Verse 26. Behold, the time shall come that these tokens which I have told thee shall come to pass, and the bride shall appear, and she coming forth shall be seen that now is withdrawn from the earth.
Now the Lord said that the tokens which I have told thee shall come to pass. Tokens are signs of the end of the world. Right? You can read about those signs in chapter 6. Brothers covered that. And chapter 5. Right? About earthquakes, uproars of the people of the world, people being taken in great number, wild beasts changing their places, all of this madness on the earth and prophecies. And the bride that is speaking about is the nation of Israel. Let's get that in Revelation chapter 19, and we can start at 8. Let's start at 7. So the Lord said, then it's like, and the bride shall appear, and she coming forth shall be seen that is now withdrawn from the earth. And we're the bride. We have a wedding with Yahushua, an arranged marriage by the Father. So let's bring that out.
Revelation chapter 19, verse 7. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready.
That's plain. Who's the wife? Israel. Read on.
And it reads, and to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints.
Yeah, and brides, they take their time to get married or to get for the wedding ceremony. And they make sure it's spotless. They take that thing serious, man. Right? They make sure their makeup is perfect. Their hair is perfect. They smell good. They may shave. They may get their eyebrows done. And, and their garment their white garment has to be pure. No stains. Make sure their shoes are right. I mean, they have, there's a term, bridezillas. That's the term. They call them bridezillas, man. Because everything has to be perfect. That's how women take marriage. You know, hey, we have to be that same way. We have to make sure everything is perfect. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 11 and 2. Right, our garment is pure, our hair, our everything has to be without spot. Because when the Lord returns, we want to be accepted, man. We want big breasts. Get that first in Song of Solomon, Bible chapter 8. Right, you want to make sure you developed in this thing, man. Right, yeah, we said it. Right, you want to make sure you have big breasts. Now,
Got precept when you done.
you got brothers scratching their head. These guys are off. What do you mean? We're going to show you in the Bible. Right, it's biblical. Second, it's like your Song of Solomon, chapter 8 and 8.
Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 8. We have a little sister, and she hath no breast.
Hold on, read that again.
We have a little sister, and she hath no breast. What shall we do for our sister in the day when she shall be spoken for?
So we have a little sister, and she don't have no breast. Right? Now, our little sister is symbolic for our people without the truth and a Gentile state of mind. They're not developed. They don't have the stature or the measure of Yahushua. They're still in the world, right? They're still out there smoking weed. They're just immature in this thing. You understand? The Lord said, what shall we do for our sister and the day when she shall be spoken for? Meaning when it's time for, when somebody, the day that is spoken for in the ancient word is when you go to the father and ask for marriage. So you want to make sure this woman is on a level that when it's time for marriage, she's mature physically and mentally for this marriage. That's why a lot of brothers don't get Song of Solomon. We got big breasts. I don't have a little sister with no breast. Sharika, Rhonda, come here. That's off, man. You're texting your little sister, right? I got to ask you a question. What? Now, I don't want you to think I'm weird. What do you want? Right? And then you damn be a creep and violate all manner of laws and wisdom. You know? So let's read that again one more time. Baba Kashad, Song of Solomon 8 and 8. So in the wedding, you want to make sure you prepare for this thing. I'll read it. It reads, we have a little sister and she hath no breast. What shall we do for our sister and the day when she shall be spoken for? If she be a wall, we will build upon her a palace of silver. If she be a door, we will enclose her with boards of cedar. So it's our job to build up our people. That's what it means, right? That's all it's saying, right?
Yeah.
You may have heard that you're Israel, but it's our time to take you from a wall and turn you to a palace. Give you more breakdowns, give you more understanding, make you a sure house, right? Verse 10. I am a wall, and my breast like towers. Then was I in his eyes as one that found favor. So the Lord, like a woman with big breasts, man. Parabolically speaking, the Lord wants us to be on a particular level. Right? It says in Song of Solomon 8 and 10, I am a wall, stones that are scattered, like it's here in Nehemiah, fitly framed and joined together, unmovable. So the elect are likened unto a wall, and their breasts are like towers. You know, I don't have to break it down any other way. Right? We're men, we're adults, right? So you get it. So the Lord is attracted to the bride whose breasts are like towers. Nobody wants to deal, with even on a carnal level, women who don't know anything, man. The Lord said, "Give not thyself over to a light woman." The brothers got it.
That's Sirach 7:26. We was bringing that out last week. We was edifying some brothers through the spirit. So you don't want to give yourself over to a light woman who's real ditzy. How do I cook? She asking you, how do I cook? How do I sew? How do I do all these things that she should have learned from her youth up? And I was going to bring out Luke 7 and 23. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. Now, I'm sure a lot of people just got offended. They unsubscribed. They closed their laptop. They closed their Bible and said, I'm done to Islam or to Buddhism next. You can't be offended in what was written. You read about that in John the 6th chapter. And Yahushua was speaking in parables. Not everybody is meant to get it. Meaning I don't want to put it like that, but it is what it is. You don't deserve to be in this thing. You can't understand the parables. And when you at work, don't you got certain lingo and code talk? You think the person that just walked in is going to understand it? No, they can't be offended. At my certain job, they call your phone your third arm or something like that. Now I could have said, "What? That's wicked. Y'all are weird." Hey, but certain things you gotta kind of, you gotta get the understanding of.
Yeah, let me bring this precept out. Right, it's the book of Song of Solomon, chapter 7, and verse number 7. Right, and like the brothers are bringing out, you have to understand that the breast that is total breast having milk, man. The understanding, like the Lord said, through the hand. Let me get that precept next. Right, as newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word. So you want to be a woman that is engulfed and pleasing to the Lord. You understand, fully developed, fully ready. You understand, with a lot of milk in you, sitting up there, you're nourished. You understand? It's the book of Song of Solomon, chapter 7, and verse number 7. It says, "This thy stature is like to a palm tree." So all throughout Song of Solomon, the Lord is parabolically describing the elect woman. In the 4th chapter, you understand? In the 6th chapter, in the 7th chapter, in the 8th chapter, it's all parabolic. The Lord says in the 4th chapter, she has dove's eyes. In the 6th chapter, in the 7th chapter, it's all parabolic of attributes to this beautiful woman, man, that he likens Israel to be. It says, "Thy stature is like to a palm tree, and thy breasts to clusters of grapes." Right? So you want a round, plump grape through the spirit. You understand? And that's how we're supposed to be. You understand? Full of juice, vibrant, healthy, right? In the spirit, and fully developed and grown. Just like the elect woman in her breast, all parabolic to the nation of Israel and their growth in its truth.
Fuck you. I'm not about to go there, but you got brothers saying, "Oh well, you gotta wait till they 11, 10." That's off, man. What it says, breasts like towers. So brothers' minds are bad, man. Right, but let's go back to second Esdras. Right, second Esdras. Sickness. Second Esdras chapter 7. So we as a bride, we want to make sure we're mentally, physically ready, we're lively, our garment is pure. Right? We want to make sure we're all grown up in this thing, man. You know? And they make songs about that, man. Let's get married. You got I don't want to get this one wrong. Goddamn Jagged Edge, right? Let's get married. I don't know if brothers know that one. Brothers know that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Jagged Edge, man. Right? So that's what this thing. If you listen to these marriage songs that Jake got, man, Forever My Lady, right? Jodeci. And we're a spouse. Let's get that 2 Corinthians 11. We're a spouse, see how we shine, man. It's our job to be ready in this thing. And be a virgin. The Lord is not coming back for a filthy, nasty, polluted woman. 2 Corinthians 11 and 2.
2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 2. For I am jealous over you with a godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin.
Right, chaste virgin.
To Christ.
Right. So in the ancient world, men married virgins. The high priest would marry a virgin. Even in the Levitical priesthood, he was required to marry a virgin. Not a woman whore that was a whore or profane or put away. You understand? So guess what? When we're espoused to Yahushua, we have to remain chaste and unspotted and unpolluted by the philosophies and the cares of this world and sin. All right, so that's the bride that you read about in 2 Esdras chapter 7 and 26. And we can read that again in 2 Esdras chapter 7 and 26.
2 Esdras chapter 7, verse 26. Behold, the time shall come that these tokens which I have told thee shall come to pass, and the bride shall appear, and she coming forth shall be seen, and now is withdrawn from the earth.
Yeah, and Esau is going to object, right? You know, at the wedding, say, does anybody want to object? And Esau is going to try to damn object during his wedding, man. With his damn space force, space cadets, lasers and missiles, man. Go on.
Verse 27. And whosoever is delivered from the foresaid evils shall now, slacken shall see my wonders.
Right.
For my son Yahushua shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years.
Right.
After these years shall my son Hamashiach die, and all men that have life.
Right. So when it says, for my son Yahushua shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years, that's roughly around the time from Ezra to Yahushua. Right. That's the 400 years. From Ezra's life until the time Yahushua was born. Right. So that, I mean, that's plain. Even go to Daniel 9 real quick. Right. Daniel 9 and 24. So that's a rough time, right? From around 457 BC, give or take, because that's the time that Ezra went back to Jerusalem to build around 457. So around 400 or so odd years later, not the exact date and second, but roughly around that time, Yahushua was born. So let's get that.
Daniel chapter 8, verse 7.
9 and 24.
9 and 24. So and it reads, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish this transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy.
Yeah, those 70 weeks, we've done breakdowns in this. We're not going to do an in-depth breakdown right now, right? But it's really going into a certain dispensation of time, right? 70 weeks is 490 years. A week is 7 years. So 70 times 7 is 490, right? To complete these prophecies. Go on.
And it reads, verse 25, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks, and 62 weeks the street shall be built again, and the wall, even the troublous times.
Right, so from the commandment sent out, ultimately, the first commandment was sent out by Cyrus, but prophetically, that fits Artaxerxes. Now, from the time of that commandment to restore, to build Jerusalem, it was 483 years, right? And then, guess what? That's when the temple and the walls were built during the time of Nehemiah. All right, so we can go on. Or the commandment is when Nehemiah was returned back to build Jerusalem around 444 BC. So you can read on.
And Daniel?
No, that's it on that. That's all we needed. And around 483 years later, that's when the Messiah, the Prince, will come on the scene and do his ministry. So that's that 400 years. You can read about it in Daniel, the 9th chapter. So you had those 69 weeks, which is 483 years. You understand? From the time of the commandment that originally started around 530 so BC, ultimately 444 BC, and then till Yahushua came on the scene. Right? But if you want to go in depth in that breakdown, we've covered that. I believe we did a Daniel 9. Did we do a complete Daniel 9 breakdown?
Yeah, we covered that.
Okay, we covered that. All right. Hey, brother, you never know when you have to go into that, right? So brothers watching, you got to, make sure you sharpen those things, man. So let's go back to that in 2nd Esdras chapter 7 and
29.
Con.
The 2nd Esdras chapter 7, verse 29. After these years shall my son Hamashiach die, and all men that have life.
Yeah, those men that have life is the men of that generation, right? The apostles, you understand, the early church, Paul, Peter, John, James, even men that came after them, right? Polycarp and St. George and all those men, Right? Go on.
And the world shall be turned into the old silence 7 days.
Yeah, the 7 days. Go to Revelation 11 and 8. The 7 days is the time, is a certain dispensation of time prior to the truth being established. Right? That's the world being turned to silence without the sound of the trumpet and its musical sound coming from the 144,000. Right? So let's bring that up. That's the old silence being turned for 7 days.
Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified.
Our people are spiritually dead in America. This place is spiritual Sodom due to I mean, damn, you know why this place is Sodom. I mean, just look around you. If you can't figure it out, just go outside, man. You know, why is it Egypt? Because of the bondage. Read on.
Verse 9. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves.
So the nations, they see us without wisdom, without understanding, without a heritage, and they don't do anything about it. Right? When you put a body in the grave, it's to give that body rest, prevent it from being torn by the beasts of the field, frozen through the frost of the air, and plucked out by the fowls of the air. Right? So the purpose of the nations, essentially, if they were merciful, is they would give us our heritage, which is parabolically putting us in the grave. But we don't have a burial. That's one of the most wicked things to ever go through in a man's life. So the nations, they see us in the lower state, and they don't help us out. Go on.
Verse 11. It's like in verse 10. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
So Revelation 11 and 10 is what's taking place during these 7 days. The 7 days that you read about in 2nd Esdras, if you want to know what's happening during those 7 days, read Revelation 11 and 10 again. What's happening in that old silence? We were in slavery, right? We were in bondage. You go to Matthew 25. The virgin slumbered and slept, right? So let's read that again. Revelation 11 and 10.
Salaki King. And another quick point, I did a breakdown. I'm on the Cold Cuts channel called the 7 Days of Silence too. For more edification, I want that.
All praise. So Araya did a breakdown on the 7 days, right? I think I did one on Instagram a long time ago too. So if you want an in-depth breakdown on that, check out the video Araya did, or go on Instagram. You'll see the in-depth breakdown of the 7 days of darkness. Because a lot of brothers, they get tripped up on that, man. So they're thinking they're counting Sunday, Monday, okay, Tuesday, but it's spiritual. Remember, 7 just means completion or perfection, and even sometimes an indefinite amount. You know, and Abaya put a good precept on the comment board, right? In John 9 and 4, we're gonna get that too. Let's actually get that in John 9 and 4. Right? So John 9 and 4.
This is the book of John, chapter 9.
And before you read that, let me touch on Revelation 11 and 10 again. It says, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry and send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. So the nations, they rejoiced at our downfall. They sold us into slavery. We are the gifts that were sold into slavery, right? We are the ones that are tormented by the nations prior to the truth being established. So prior to those, on that 8th day, is when the truth came out. But for those 7 days, if you got ears to hear, the truth wasn't prevalent in the earth, because the church was shut down. There was a great diaspora and massive persecution and slavery, and a discontinuation from our heritage. Right? I'm going to read that in John 9 and 4. That's a good precept.
John chapter 9, verse 4. I must work the works of him that sent me, while it is today. It's like while it is day, the night cometh when no man can work.
That's right. The night cometh when no man can work. So that spiritual 7 days is that nighttime when you weren't allowed to do the work, right? Why? You didn't have your heritage, your nationality. You understand the spirit withdrawing himself and went back to the third heaven. Let's go to Matthew 25 real quick. Matthew 25:1. And that's why you have to go precept upon precept. I mean, otherwise, how would you know how to go into it, man? How would you know how to break it down? Matthew 25:1. We're not going to do the whole parable, but we're going to read a few verses.
Matthew chapter 25, verse 1. And it reads, Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom.
Yeah, the 10 virgins represent a certain amount of the servants of the Lord. Right? Go on.
And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish.
Right?
They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them.
Right. So they may have the lamp is symbolic for the law, right? The understanding, the wisdom. The Lord said in Proverbs chapter 6:23, for the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. So you have men that have the understanding or have the wisdom, but the spirit is not really with them. That understanding is not there, and they'll slowly leak out that oil. You can only be on fire for so long without oil. Eventually, you're going to burn out. And that oil is the Holy Spirit leaving you. You know? So, man, there's a lot of precepts. For sake of time, we just summoned it up. And there are in-depth breakdowns in Matthew 25 as well. We're not covering it greatly in-depthly or greatly because we have covered it in time past multiple times. And for sake of time, we're going to kind of roll through it. So let's read on.
And another point, it's on the channel too. So, I mean, if you just hungry one day, just type something in cold cuts, man. It might come up through the spirit.
That's right. That's right. So go on. Yeah, I always said that you could type in cold cuts and type in the specific topic. Okay, cold cuts, fasting. Cold cuts, Matthew 25. Cold cuts, 2nd Esdras 7. Cold cuts, Ark of the Covenant. I mean, there's over 2,000 videos on the Cold Cuts channel covering a wide variety of topics from biblical prophecy to archaeology, Hebrew, Greek, exhortation, in-depth breakdowns, Q&As. I mean, you name it. Maps, you understand? And damn, you got interviews on there. I mean, weddings and all types of stuff.
And you got etymology on there and Hebrew. Yep. Right, yep. So that thing is
how garments are made.
Yeah, biology. You ever done? You did stuff on flies and the uncleanliness of certain animals. Why you shouldn't eat this and health. We have health cuts, man. Gabar did a few health cuts. You know, herbs and how to go into that. So everything, most are willing. You know, you can type in the Cold Cuts channel and stuff should be on there. And if there's something that's not on there, then you let us know and we'll cover it, Lord willing, if we can. Let's go back to Matthew 25 and verse 4.
Matthew chapter 25, verse 4. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps.
Right.
While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept.
That's the same thing as the 7 days. The bridegroom that tarried is Yahushua. Right? He went back to the spirit world and we all slumbered and slept. Discontinued from our heritage. Go to Psalms 22 and 15. Slumbered and slept. Left our homeland. Scattered. Joined other religions. Right? Joined other philosophies. Slumbered and slept. Here's a precept for that sleep.
This is Psalm chapter 22, verse 15. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue cleaveth to my jaws. And thou hast brought me into the dust of the earth of death.
Right, the dust of death. So that's that sleep. Also in Proverbs chapter Psalms 3 and 13. 13 and 3. That's what I believe. That's what I really want. Psalms 13 and 3. That's what I want. Salaki. Psalms 13 and 3.
This Psalms 13 and 3. Consider and hear me, O Lord my God. Lighten mine eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death.
Light my eyes with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding before I sleep the sleep of death. So the sleep of death is not a physical sleep, a spiritual sleep. And the wine of the Most High wakes you up from that sleep. Let's go back to 2nd Ezra 7. So 2nd Ezra 7 is a heavy chapter. It's a very heavy chapter. One of the deepest chapters in 2nd Ezra.
2nd Ezra chapter 7. We leave off at 30.
Come.
Verse 30. And the world shall be turned into the old silence 7 days, like as in the former judgments, so that no man shall remain.
Yeah, the former judgments is the time prior to Yahushua, right? When there was great darkness upon the people. Go on.
And after 7 days the world that yet awaketh not shall be raised up, and that shall die that is corrupt.
Yeah, that's that 8th day, right? Of the truth coming out. And that spiritual resurrection of the men of the Lord, returning back to the Most High. Go on.
And the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her, and so shall the dust those that dwell in the silence, and the secret places shall deliver those souls that were committed unto them.
Yeah, go to John 5:25. So that's a spiritual resurrection that's going to lead to a physical resurrection. So when it says the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her, and so shall the dust those that dwell in silence. That starts first and foremost with the spiritual resurrection. And when Yahushua returns, you're going to have men that are actually resurrected out of the grave. John 5:25 is a good precept for that.
The book of John, chapter 5, verse 25. Verily I say unto you, the hour is coming, and now is, when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of God, and they that hear shall live.
Go on.
For as the Father hath life in himself, so hath he given to the Son to have life in himself.
Right.
And hath given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man.
Right.
Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming, in the which all that are in the graves shall hear his voice, and shall come forth, they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation.
So that's coming, right? Go to Acts 24:15. That's the resurrection. You have men that are going to be resurrected and beamed up, and men are going to be resurrected and destroyed. Right? It's one great resurrection divided into two different lots. I can tell you in Esther, I believe 10 and 10. Right? You have one lot for the Gentiles and one lot for the people of God. So let's bring that up. Acts 24:15.
The book of Acts, chapter 24, verse 15. And have hope toward God, which they themselves also allow, that there should be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust.
See that? Even the unjust are going to be resurrected. Right? If whoever's now on the earth right now, in terms of the judgment, those men are going to be resurrected and ultimately destroyed again, man. That's what the Lord said, after death, ye shall know it by pain. Men are going to come out the graves, be looking around, see the bombs dropping, curse out the Most High. They're going to be stick their middle finger up to the Most High. I hate you. Why did you bring me up? You know, try to pick up a rock, look around, throw it at the chariot, right? And then get zapped and destroyed again, man. That's what's going to happen to men. Then other men are going to come out the grave like a damn hand coming out, like they show you in the movies, put his hand on the ground, other hand on the ground, and then he crawl out the grave, what damn crumbs out his eyes, call upon Yahweh Shemar, then get beamed up. Right? Or just get beamed up straight out the grave, man. That'd be a sight to see, man. That'd be a hell of a sight, man. You run and you're on the run, the chairs come out of nowhere, and you just stop, and then people are getting beamed up out the graves first. And you start calling upon the name of the Lord, then the chariot beam you up, man. What's that?
What's the hand coming out the grave?
Yeah.
But use wisdom. These are zombies. You're not a zombie. Right. And I just want to make that clear, just in case Jake may tell their friends and their family, we're going to be zombies in that day.
Yeah.
I knew it. They called me wrong. We're not zombies. We're
Right.
not zombies.
I'm glad you cleared that up. And zombies are controlled by witches and warlocks, man. Right? Go to Luke 14 and 14. Right? St. Luke, the 14th chapter and the 14th verse. Let's get another precept on that. That's what 2nd Esdras chapter 7 and 32 is going into, the resurrection. That was Acts 24 and 15. And now we're in Luke 14 and 14.
Luke chapter 14, verse 14. And thou shalt be blessed, for they cannot recompense thee, for thou shalt be recompensed at the resurrection of the just.
See that? That's another
So
precept
meaning,
showing that there's the resurrection of the just. Not everybody's going to be recompensed at the resurrection of the just. Only the elect are. All right? That's when you're going to get rewarded according to your works. And that resurrection of the just and unjust is going to be simultaneously. It's not going to be, okay, the righteous are resurrected, then 1,000 years later, then the wicked are resurrected and destroyed and sent to hell. It's a simultaneous thing for two different judgments. Let's go back to 2nd Esdras chapter 7 and 34.
2nd Esdras chapter 7, verse 34.
Oh, it's like 33.
Oh, verse 33. Gone. And the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end.
Right.
But judgment only shall remain, truth shall stand, and faith shall wax strong.
Right.
And the works shall follow, and the reward shall be shewed, and the good deeds shall be of force, and wicked deeds shall bear no rule.
Right.
Then said I, Abraham first prayed for the Sodomites and
Hold on
Moses.
now. Hold on, Slocky. Now, we got to clear this up.
Gone.
We have to clear this up. It says Abraham prayed first for the Sodomites. Let's go to Genesis chapter 18. Was Abraham praying for the Sodomites? Is that what it's really saying? Right? Is that what it's saying, in depth? Was Abraham praying for the king of Sodom? No, he was praying for Lot that in Sodom. I think a Sodomite tried to use that, man. Didn't Abraham pray for me? No, he didn't pray for you, man. All right, let's get that in Genesis chapter 18. And we can start at 23. 22.
Genesis chapter 18, verse 22. And the men, let me highlight it. Genesis 18 and 22. And the men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom. But Abraham stood yet before the Lord. And Abraham drew near and said, Wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Because Lot was there.
Right. That's the point, because Lot was there. Right? We'll have to read the whole thing. He didn't want Lot to be caught up in that madness. Why would Abraham be praying for the Sodomites? Let's go back to 2nd Esdras 7.
2nd Esdras 7 and verse 36. Then said I, Abraham, prayed first for the Sodomites, and Moses for the fathers that sinned in the wilderness.
Yeah, you can read that in Exodus 32. Right, go on.
And Yahushua after, selecting Joshua after him, for Israel in the time of Achan.
Right, you can read about that. Go on.
And Samuel and David for the destruction, and Solomon for them that should come to the sanctuary.
Right.
And Elias for those that received rain.
That's Elijah.
It's and for the dead that he might live.
These are all the righteous praying for the righteous, right? And praying for our people that are off in the lower state. Go on.
And Hezekiah for the people in the time of Sennacherib.
Right, you can read that in Isaiah You understand? 37. Go on.
And many for many. Even so now seeing corruption is grown up and wickedness increased, and the righteous have prayed for the ungodly, wherefore shall it not be so now also?
So the righteous do pray for the ungodly. We pray for brothers to repent. Right? We come home from camp. We pray that brothers that was taught receive the word and wax strong. Right? We pray for brothers, the ungodly. Right? We don't pray for the ungodly to be ungodly. Right? And we pray that the Lord allow them to repent and have mercy on them. Because we're worthy of death. Right? We can read on.
Verse 42. He answered me and said, this present life is not the end where much glory doth abide. Therefore have they prayed for the weak.
Right? That's a
That's,
fire precept.
yeah, that's the deep verse.
Yeah. Yep. This ain't it. That's what the Lord is saying. Right? Go on.
But the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past.
That's doomsday in the Bible. Everybody talks about doomsday. It's right there. And second Esdras 7-43, that's when the missiles drop, the chariots come, you're beamed up, people are burnt to pieces, melting, and that's doomsday. And the same day that there's doomsday is also our deliverance. And we receive the immortal bodies. You can read about those bodies in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, 50 on down. You know? You can read on.
Verse 44. Intemperance is at an end, infidelity is cut off, righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up.
Right.
Then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed, nor to oppress him that hath gotten the victory.
And that's what the Lord said. I was trying to pull that precept on the Sabbath service. He that is filthy, let him be filthy. He that is righteous, let him be righteous. You're not going to save a man that's destroyed. Right? It's going to get to the point where these men are going to have to deal with their works. They're going to have to answer. And your prayers aren't going to save them. Right? And in Jacob's trouble, they're going to be caught out there. Go on.
46. I answered then and said, this is my first and last saying, that it had been better not to have given the earth unto Adam, or else, when it was given him, to have restrained him from sinning.
So Ezra really didn't have the full understanding on why Adam went off. He said, why would you you should have just stopped him from sinning? Or don't even give him the earth. And we would never be in this situation. Right?
Verse 47. For what profit is it for men now? Can you hear me?
Come.
Thing kind of froze. For what profit is it now for men now? It's like here. For what profit is it for men now in this present time to live in heaviness, and after death to look for punishment? And read that again. For what profit is it for men now in this present time to live in heaviness, and after death to look for punishment? O thou Adam, what hast thou done? For though it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone, but we all that come of thee. So again, this is Ezra still not really understanding. He's like, Adam, what did you do? This is all because of you. But through the Spirit now into this very day, we understand why all had that play out. Again, you got Acts 14:22. We brought that out earlier. And again, you got Isaiah 55:8. There's a lot of things that just Most High wanted to play out for his purpose. And we're not in a position to ask why. Now Ezra, he's asking all these questions, but he doesn't know any better. This is man on earth. They're moving in the spirit. Ezra's kind of just I wonder why this, I wonder why that. So the Lord put it all in the book so man can understand through the Spirit. And you're not alone having these questions. And he answers them. But after reading all of this, and as we continue through the chapter, you should leave it at, okay, the Lord got it. Now the Lord didn't have to put all of this, because Job kind of summed it up as well. Job, was you there? Was you there? Most High put it in here twice, because Job wasn't the only one asking a whole lot of questions. You had Ezra as well. Why is this? Why is that? You got it.
Yeah, and that's a perfectly normal reaction to affliction, especially coming from a power that's above you. You're gonna ask questions. It's not wicked that even the souls of the saints that died, they ask questions. Let's get that Revelation 6 and 9. Habakkuk asks questions. Elijah, Jeremiah. It's a normal reaction, right? To
I got
affliction
a
and
precept
adversity.
after you.
Come, Revelation 6 and 9. Even in Job, the 23rd chapter, he said he will fill his mouth with arguments. Revelation
Revelation
6 and 9.
chapter 6, verse 9.
And we ask questions, man. So let's bring that up.
And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood of them that dwell on the earth?
So even the righteous, when they die, they ask questions. Lord, why did this happen to us? When are you going to avenge me? Did you see what he did? He put me in the guillotine and he killed me. And I was calling upon your name. Lord, are you going to do something about it? Lord, he put me in a FEMA camp and he just shot me when I went in my sleep. He gave me a number and he shot me. Lord, can you do something about it? How long are we going to have to be up here? When are you going to do something about this on earth? Right, you can read on.
Verse 10. It's like verse 11. You want in Revelation?
God, Revelation 6, where you left off.
Revelation 6 and 11. And white robes were given to every one of them. And it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled.
Right, you see that? And the Lord answered them. He said, look, y'all chill out. Right? You got other men that have to die. And look, you're not going to have these questions anymore. And once the elect amount of men are fulfilled, because there's an elect amount of men that have to be martyrs too. Right? You got men that have to be sealed, men have to go through this. And once that number of martyrs is fulfilled, then things will be all right. Right? But you got it, Orion. King. You had a precept? He might be dealing with tech. Yeah. All right, so let's go back to 2nd Esdras chapter 7. Right? So, like I said, there's nothing wicked, man, about making a petition to the Most High. But if you're doing it in vain, if you want to repeat for word what Ezra said, now it's not sincere. Right? You just want to see, okay, what Ezra said, what questions, and you write them on a flashcard. You go, okay, I asked that one. That's not sincere, man. Hey, our forefathers complain in the bitterness of their soul. So it got to be a sincere thing. You can't force it, man. Oh, I want to be like Ezra, and I just want Uriel to come to me. That's not how this thing works.
All right, Khan. Can brothers hear me?
Khan.
Okay, Khan. Salaki. It's the book of Job, chapter 23, and verse number 2. It says, even today is my complaint bitter. My stroke is heavier than my groaning. So Job is complaining in the spirit, man. He said, look, even today is my complaint bitter. My stroke, meaning all his affliction, is heavier than he's groaning out to be, man. It says, oh, that I knew where I might find him, talking about the Most High, that I might come even to his seat, man. So you may need questions and answers and things to what's going on in your life, and you feel like you want to come before the Most High and get the answers to it, man. You may ask yourself, and that's that sign and that wonder through the spirit being an Israelite, man. You may wonder why it's so hard not having a job. You may wonder why you always getting afflicted, why Jake always getting shot down in the streets. Why, God, why? Like in the movies. It's sitting up there, why? Why is this? Why is this? And you get to your damn breaking point, man. How much more will you know the knowledge of truth? And you have the spirit of Yahweh, man. And the spirit, you understand? Hey, Job's crying out and he wants answers to things that are going on. Because Job, when you read the book of Job, Job knows that, he wasn't an evil man. So as he's getting afflicted, he's justifying himself in this book, right, which he shouldn't have done. Nevertheless, it wasn't anything that he has done to cause all of this to come upon him. It was to try him to glorify the name of the Lord. You understand? So he's saying to himself, as you read this whole thing, why me? What's going on? I'm not wicked. I'm not this. Reading on, it says, I would order my cause before him and fill my mouth with arguments. I would know the words which he would answer me. And that's beautiful, man. Not that anybody deserves it, but what if the Most High actually told you, man? Literally, you asked the Most High a question and he answered it. This is why you broke your arm. This is why this is going on. This is why your wife left. This is why this is going on in your life. This is why your child died. This is why you can't keep a job. This is why you're not on fire. And a lot of men will lose their mind, man. So Job, through the Spirit, he's trying to figure out the reasonings of all that's befallen him. It says, I would know the words which he would answer me and understand what he would say unto me. Will he plead against me with his great power? No, but he would put strength in me. And that's what you need sometimes, man. Because everything isn't of affliction. The Lord may be trying you through the fire to magnify his name, to build you up stronger. A lot of people, they catch hell so they can be stronger in this thing, man. How else are you going to be stronger? You can't be stronger not going through affliction and temptation, man. That's what makes you stronger. A boxer, he's prone to getting hit, man. So if anything were to befall him, he's used to that situation and condition, man. How much more when you're a warrior in the spirit, battling principalities, battling all of these spirits, you battling the flesh, right? You battling the cares of this life and all this effect thereof, man. And you have to learn how to fight and go toe-to-toe in this thing. You may get knocked down, bruised, or all hell may befall you. Nevertheless, it's to strengthen you to keep going, man. It says what? And even in the on a physical level, the so-called, I think it's called what is it? The CFE, the CF, the UCF, or something like that. When they fight, what is that called?
UFC.
UFC.
Yeah, the UFC. They'll go through a line and you'll be standing there and they'll slap you, man. Then they'll go to the next person and slap them. Then they'll be in a line just getting whacked, man. And then the first one, they'll go back and forth up and down the line, just getting whacked. And the first one to fall out the line, they would kind of note that, man. Okay, he can't take that tolerance. And the last man standing, and they'll well you, man. They'll beat your damn stomach in and your chest, and all of that's to make them stronger. It wasn't to knock them out. It wasn't to kill them. It was to strengthen them. That's why Job said, it says, let me read that again. It says, will he plead against me with his great power? No, but he will put strength in me. There the righteous might dispute him. So like it, there the righteous might dispute with him. So should I be delivered forever from my judge. So it says there, which is the third heaven, the righteous might dispute with him, meaning be able to be answered. And you're not going to remember all the times you cried out over all of the generations unto the Lord, and he actually answered you in the third heaven when you went up there, man, because you will bug out and lose your mind. That's why we don't remember past things and former things of our lives, man. But that may have been you through the Spirit. You may have very well complained to the Most High God before his throne, and he gave you answers.
And the Most High could have brought you into this truth, man. So look, I'm gonna put you in this truth in this life right here, man. And then Ariah went into, you may not remember that, man. So when you complain, and that's a natural thing, for lack of better terms, that happens when a man's back is against the wall. When you're at wit's end and you're in prison and you don't have anything, you naturally call out to the Most High. Jake do that, man. Even when you in the world, damn Lord, why is this happening to me? Jake do that in the world, man. Damn Lord, I can't pay. Lord, why am I going through this? What that why me spirit? Right? Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 1. Right? Habakkuk chapter 1. And Esau don't do that. These nations don't say, oh Lord, why me? Why am I going through this? They're carnal. Oh, it's because of my financial budget. Okay, I didn't invest in NASDAQ the way I should. And I want to go to a psychiatrist. All they questions, they check into the so-called white man and spend $200 a session for, and sit on a big ass chair and look at nasty ink blocks all day. And they ask their questions to their God, the so-called white man. And we ask our questions to the Most High. You know, let's go to Habakkuk chapter 1 and 3. I believe that's what I want. You want mute? I don't know if you read.
Verse 2.
1 and 3.
Verse 3. Why dost thou shew me iniquity?
You can start at 2. You can start at 2.
Verse 2. O Lord, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear, even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save?
So Habakkuk, he saw his brothers being killed, and he started calling upon the Lord. He said, Lord, I keep seeing my brothers that are being dead by the Babylonians, man. And you're not saving us. What's going on? Read on.
Why dost thou shew me iniquity, and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raise up strife and contention.
He said, I see murder, I see bloodshed, I see spoiling, right? I see violence, people raising up strife and contention. Go on.
Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth.
This is how you know this is a so-called black man. This is us. Who else would say this? This sounds like something, Jake, that you march about and you riot about. The law is slack and wrong, and judgment doth never go forth. All these Edomites get acquittals. These police officials and police cops, they don't go to jail. They don't do no jail time because the wicked is compassing the righteous. You don't get no fair shake, man. And wrong judgment is bound to happen when a wicked compass the righteous. What do you expect? But he was complaining to the Most High. Hey, Esdras said his spirit was setly great on fire, man. You know, you're not going to ask those questions if you're not in the spirit. If you're preoccupied in the world and you're just worried about the lust of the flesh and getting drunk and you're asking where's the food at and who got this, and but when you're in the spirit, you may ask certain things like that, man. And there's truth to make you emotional, and you may cry. You know, you may actually go through spells of being depressed, man, for a few days. You don't really want to say nothing to nobody. You don't want to leave the house. You don't want to go nowhere. You just catching hell, man, because you see all of the affliction. You might go on a fast. That's what the prophets and the servants of the Lord, that's what they spirit drew them to do, man.
Con, let me bring this precept out. That's right, man, because this thing will make you pass out like Daniel, man, when he saw those visions. It make your stomach hurt, right? It's the book of Job, chapter 6 and verse 8. It says, oh, that I might have my request, and that God would grant me the thing that I long for. So brothers is going into, why me? Why me? No, hey, Job said that I may have my request, man. You may have a request from the Almighty God to show you or break down to you why certain things are befalling you in your life, man. And you may want that request from the Lord, man. You may cry. You may go on a fast. You may pray, right? You may ask for counsel. There's no telling what you might do. It says, oh, that I might have my request, and that God would grant me the thing that I long for. You may long for the reasonings of why things are not going your way, because you may not have the discernment. It says, even that it would please God to destroy me, that he would let loose his hand and cut me off, man. So you may be catching so much hell in this thing, man. Hey, when you read Job, the 6th chapter, you read this whole book, man. It's about affliction, man. This is my favorite book in the scriptures. It's manyfold, man. And you can eat diverse things, man, in the book of Job. Prophecy, you understand wisdom, being a king, understanding how to be a ruler. You understand going into just precepts and gems through the spirit to link it up through other prophecies or dark sayings, man. So Job is catching hell, and he may come to that thing where you just cry out to the Lord to get the understanding.
Come. That's right, man. But we can bring out closing precepts. We're gonna have to finish this chapter, most High willing, next week, man. If we still here. If Russia doesn't bomb the United States, man. And brothers gotta watch for this famine too. Make sure you're watching. And keep your eyes on the prophecies, man. Keep your eyes on the prophecies. See the food facility plants blowing down, burning down. The so-called white man killing Slocky. He's killing the cattle. After the cold cut, and we brought out that he's killed over like 10 million chickens, man. He's just killing them. Over 10 million chickens, he's just burning them up and killing them. Just killing the cattle. Now they are derailing the trains. So the trains that's bringing up coal and stuff, they damn knocking the trains off. They're destroying this place, man. They put a siege in and they're stopping the ships from coming in. So make sure you're watching this stuff, man. Lest your hearts. Let me get that real quick. Or brothers got their closing precepts. I'm going to close out with Luke 21.
It's Luke. Oh, you got it.
Nah, you got it, King. You got it.
It's Luke 7:23. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. And everything we brought out through the Spirit from the beginning, where we start off in Esdras until now, at this very second, 8, you shouldn't be offended in it. Whether it been Abraham praying for the Sodomites, which was Lot,
Right.
down to our little sister, which are the Israelites who don't know, down to the very end, to all the prophecies that's coming to pass. You can't be offended in none of those things. The moment you're offended in it, in a moment you're going to become weak when those situations happen. Because, you're going to see it as, all of this is brought out and presented so you may prepare through the Spirit. This is why we do videos day in and day out through the Spirit all week. Everything we brought out is to ultimately boost up your faith. Learning this, the Lord revealed this, the Lord did that. Okay, I got to believe in the Lord even more. He gives so much wisdom. I really have to put all my faith in the Lord, even in those days which are to come, those days of trouble, those days of doom. We're not in the days of trouble like that. It's getting a little warm, but it's not hot, right? As the scriptures say, it's not the heat of the moment. Yeah, you got a flat tire, you got fired, you and your wife got in a little argument. That's nothing compared to what's about to happen. So you can't be offended in nothing whatsoever that the Lord speaketh.
That's a mighty point. Because you definitely don't want to be offended in the words of the Lord and our King Yahushua. Right? It's the book of Revelation, chapter 3, right? And I'm going to start at verse 2, and it reads, "Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, for I have not found thy works perfect before God." And that's what you got to do, man. You got to sincerely examine yourself. This thing isn't a game. Something on you is always trying to defer you from the knowledge of truth, always trying to sift you away, always trying to plague you. Always trying to take your mind captive, whether that be your job, your household, your family, you understand, your wife, your children. You never know when Satan is attacking you, man. You understand, until it's too late if you're not watching. Because if you're not sincerely examining and on fire, then it's too late, man. Because he has you captive and he's going to put you into bonds. The next thing you know, you're going to be working for him. You're going to be a servant to sin, man. And you'll forever be in a mind state where you won't serve the Lord. Because the Lord said that wisdom will meet you at every thought. So if your thoughts, your spirit is in anything of the world or not fixated on the Lord, that should be your first sign. It says, "Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die." Right? So according to the Bible, there's no man that's perfect just walking around right now. Because according to the Bible, something on you ready to die. You're not in a glorified body. You always have something that you can work on. Nobody can say, "I don't have anything to work on. I'm just awaiting the cherry." They'll be a fool. Because according to the Holy Bible, Yahushua himself said that there's something to work on, man. Whether that be your understanding of prophecy, how you treat your brother, it's always something that, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of this truth and a just balance. Because you're always fighting every day. Nobody can take a break. When did the Lord say you're just on fire, take a break? And when you're on fire, you got to get more on fire than you was yesterday. You understand? It says that are ready to die, for I have not found thy works perfect before God. Remember, therefore, how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast, and repent. If therefore thou should not watch, I will come unto thee as a thief, man. And a thief isn't going to hunk his horn and let you know he's outside. He isn't going to throw a bottle against the ground and make an entrance. A thief is very sneaky. He's quiet. And the Lord going to pull up on you when you least expect it, when you got your arms folded, when you in the lust of the flesh, when you sitting up there, you haven't been watching the prophecies unrolled, right? The Lord could pull up on you many fold ways, man. Through the elements, you understand, and shifting prophecy around. Next thing you know, you blink twice, or you fell in the world for 2 seconds. Now it's an EMP attack. And the Lord could visit you through the spirit because you haven't been watching, you haven't been reading, and now you're starting to lose understanding. Forgetting precepts, forgetting what this prophecy is going into, forgetting how to treat your brother and what precepts to apply in certain situations. And you may forget, who you serve, man, and start to give an evil eye to seducing spirits and other idols. So the Lord said, he'll come on you as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. Right? So the Lord, he could come in the 4th watch. He could come in the 1st watch. You never know. That's why you have to always be watching and on fire for his name.
Con. And I'm actually normally get Revelation 22 and 14 or 22 and 12. But I'm going to read Luke 21 and 34. It reads, and take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. So the Lord said, check your spirit, lest you be too caught up in the world, man. A lot of brothers say they want to live a little bit in America. Or you finally may have came into some money, or you got something going on, and you want to enjoy America for a few years, man. Everybody else is doing it, and you're kind of mad that the prophecies are unfolding because you really want this society to continue. You really get vexed every time we talk about World War III and a famine, because now you finally got something going for yourself, and now you don't want to let it go, right? And you're getting too caught up in the world, man. And so every time we go into the prophecies and breakdowns, you get antsy and irritated in the spirit, man. You probably just got a new house, a new car, a new job. You probably came into some things. You got to let all this stuff go, man. You can't be too caught up in the world and you forget the understanding that this place can go down any second. The Lord said, take heed. Man, you got to check your spirit every now and then. Say, look, am I giving my cares too much into the word? Am I really studying and praying? When's the last time I fasted? I only read 2 chapters today, but I'm worried about my job for so much. I'm worried about this new car, but I haven't fasted in 3 weeks. What's going on? You got to check your spirit, man, because the world is to draw you, right? It's supposed to draw you in and pull you away from the Most High. And you got to cut that rope, man. It reads, and drunkenness. Yeah, drunkenness is you binge watching. You may have binge watched Netflix for 5 hours, right? You probably kind of went on vacation around the world or to a place and you didn't read because it's vacation and you deserve a break, right? That's off. Oh, this is my day off. I've been laboring all week because after the Sabbath, I could just freak off now. That's drunkenness and the cares of this life, right? You're saving up to buy a dog, right? So you don't go to camp, so you're doing all of this madness. And the Lord said that day is going to come upon you unawares, for as a snare. You don't know when you get caught in a snare. It just happens. And you got to deal with it, right? Birds don't know. Fishes don't know. Bears don't know. You have some yard done? It just happens. It reads, for as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore and pray always. Not once a day, not twice a day, not 3 times a day. Pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand for the Son of Man. And a lot of brothers, you're praying for infinite wisdom right now. You're praying for excellent memory. You're praying for a wife right now. You're praying for a dream job. You're praying for a new phone, right? But you're not praying that you're worthy, that you're accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass. So when these things do come to pass, you're not going to stand. You're going to fall because you're not even applying what the Lord told you to pray for. You're too busy praying for the in-depth breakdowns, man. You know, instead of praying that you're accounted worthy to escape all the things that shall come to pass and stand before the Son of Man. But with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, all honor and glory to Yahweh. By Shema Mashiach wa Malak Yahushai. For those who have questions, we'd like to open up the floor for a Q&A for brothers to call in and or sisters. That number is 213-603-9096. Again, that number to call in for those who do have questions is 213-603-9096. That PIN number is 94-809-305. Again, that's 94-809-305. Most High willing you were edified. Quick announcement. We want to do it. We're planning on doing a nationwide fast July 13th at sundown, right? Where it's all throughout social media. July 13th at sundown. A lot of major and congregations and brothers that are even without camps and families and households and within the nation, they have all come together to come down to do a nationwide fast July 13th at sundown, right? Sakari, Sons of Thunder, House of Israel, Lions of Israel, Army of Israel, Ram Gadol Kabarium, SUC, Swords of the Spirit, Battle Axes of the Most High, Fishermen of Zion, Fishermen of Jacob, These 12 Stones, Fire of God, many congregations, right? And even brothers without the camp and outside of camps have agreed to come together and fast July 13th at sundown. So mark your calendar, and Most High willing, you see that information out. But with that, we're going to close up. Brother Nakwan.
Brother Yardan.
Brother Ryan.
Kwame Yashala. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.